I think we are successfully live. We will see. We will see how this deck roasting title works. I don't need my headphones today. Oh, I probably need to pull up whoever is getting roasted today. What day is it? 22nd? Cool. Okay. The order is going to go into chat right now. What's up, AK, Bill, Ying? Good to see you all. Oh boy, how do I redact that? Oh my gods, we actually categorized it. Yes, so as I lay awake in bed last night, weak and weary, hearing a knocking at my door that was deep and dreary, I told myself, 'tis but a stranger, gooning at my apartment door, a gooning stranger and nothing more. And I realized that we've gotten too loose with the deck personality chart. We have a bunch of different clauses that don't really mean anything. The geographic placement of you on the matrix doesn't make any sense. And so we're redoing it, and we now have an alignment chart. The alignment chart is going to go from chaotic to greedy to tuned. This is going to represent whether your deck is responsible or not. And then we have the energy your deck is giving. There's Soap Opera, EDH Rec, and Spiteful. Soap Opera is narratively driven, so your deck is mostly about the bit and less about how well it works. EDH Rec, which is you built a pile of cards that happen to work together, so that, hey, look, the deck is good, I would like a kiss on the cheek. And then there's Spiteful, which is you don't care if you win. You built this deck because you're angry at Clark. And as long as this deck can stop Clark's deck from working, you are happy. We're going to pull up who's at the gallows today after I redact the message a little bit. Yo, Siren, Hashitan? Hashitan's crazy. I look 50 years old in profile. What the hell? It's because I'm your daddy, Bruno. It's because I'm your father. Here on Twitch, as a creator, to finally get back in touch with you after all those years. That's right, buddy. We're going to meet back up in Wyoming, where I left you. And we're finally going to have that hug. That's why I look old. Rant Redeem. Let's rant about how so far we don't have any references in Aether Drift about card games on motorcycles. Because here's the thing. Aether Drift actually did the reference level perfect. They had a ton of motorcycle references, a ton of raceway references, and everything in the card has cycling, which is the perfect amount of pithy for anybody to be able to take those cards seriously for a goddamn minute. Like, if they didn't have cycling in the motorcycle set, we were going to burn down buildings. Let's all not pretend that we weren't going to fucking riot if they published a set and we were like, oh my god, like, flavor department dead, lore team dead, nobody gives a shit about vibes anymore. If they didn't have cycling, it was going to be a goddamn mess. And they gave us cycling, and the rest was pretty goddamn restrained, except for Start Your Engines, which does make me want to get a little freaky. So I think from a flavor perspective, it was pretty good. We got two absolutely egregious puns. Cycling was basically pun that already existed, and if they didn't use it, we were all going to crash out. And Start Your Engines is foul, but like, at least Exhaust isn't crazy. At least Exhaust is not entirely insane. Shades Corners, thank you for the prime sub, my friend. Welcome to the dog home. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. Anybody else, if you have Jeffrey dollars available, I would love them on my chest very much. But if you don't, no worries, my friend. For people on YouTube who want to get roasted, there are 2 ways to get your deck roasted at present moment. You can either sign up as a Patreon member or you can purchase one on Ko-Fi. If you sign up on Patreon, that is a membership that is mostly about supporting me and the goofy shit I make. If you sign up on Patreon, you will get first come, first serve access to a sign-up sheet with 30 spots on it each month. If you don't make it on that sign-up sheet, you don't get roasted, and I am never giving you your fucking money back. I want to be so clear about that. We used to, before we had a non-membership way to get a roast. Now that we have a non-membership way, you are never getting that $25 back. And so the way to do it without having to give me money for nothing is on Ko-Fi. We sell 18 a month for $25 a piece. This is a limited stock item that you buy like I'm a vendor in World of Warcraft. And when we're out of stock, we're just out of stock for the month. It will re-up on the first Sunday of every month. But if you aren't able to buy one, you're not out any money. Ben Smash, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub for the 3rd month in a row. Happy quarterversary. Big Dog got a promotion today. Thanks for being my favorite coworker during the long days where I have to stare at spooky spreadsheets. Appreciate you, King. Thanks for being a baller. Thank you, Ben, and congratulations on your promotion. I don't remember any of my own emotes. Let's get Yugi's up in chat for Ben. God bless you, Ben, even if I don't technically believe in him. Thank you for being a member of the dog home. Thank you for your generosity. Congratulations on that promotion. Siren, I don't agree with you. Saying Hashatan is... I do believe he's on site. I am less inclined to believe he is... Let's see if Scryfall has him yet. I think whether or not this is warrior mindset is entirely dictated by the cards that you are putting in your deck to discard. It does need a lot of... Because this is still very reanimation coded in the sense that you're putting out probably individually crazy creatures. There's a lot of ways to get nasty. But if like really what I'm thinking is if I make a 4/4 Valgavoth for like 4 mana, which is very possible, right? You play Hashatan, next turn you like loot to draw something, you discard Valgavoth, and you pay 3 mana to get a 4/4 Valgavoth. That's pretty good. That's not really game ending. It's really far from doing anything to actually win the game of Commander. And I think that remains true for a lot of the individual copy targets. Now, if they have Anointed Procession, if they have Mondrak, any of the other token doublers, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to make, 5 Kozileks. Yeah, of course, that's fucking disgusting. But all the ways you can make this commander disgusting does not mean that the commander by necessity is disgusting, which is what warrior mindset means. Like Winota, any attempt to build a halfway coherent mix of humans and non-humans, you blow out so much advantage immediately that there's no way to not make it good. I don't know, Valgavoth on turn 4 in a casual pod would be pretty game ending. You are lying to me. You're telling me on turn 4, a 4/4 flying lifelinker with this text ends your game? Are you guys playing with Uno cards? That's the level we have to be at. If a 4/4 flying lifelink. Okay, Rune Scarred Demon on turn 4 basically turns you into archenemy for the rest of the game. I don't think you know what warrior mindset means then, Siren. Because Rune Scarred Demon... Yeah, you turn 4 Rune Scarred Demon, you're fucking that game up. You chose to put this shit in here. Nothing about Hashatan says you have to be playing goddamn Rune Scarred Demon. He's hard to remove in a casual game. That's true, and he's also a 4/4 in a format where everybody has 40 life. Like, that's why I'm saying... So, Goblin Tenor, warrior mindset means the commander is so good that any attempt at building a deck that utilizes its ability is by definition going to be a really strong deck. So that means, like, if you do the first sliver, if you build any version of this is a coherent sliver deck because I want to make the sliver spells cascade, that's going to be really fucking strong. Because slivers help each other so much and build the board state so automatically. Ben Smash, thank you for the 5 gifted community subs. Welcome to Dog Heaven, the true promotion. For the culture indeed, my friend, thank you. So anyway, so a commander having cards you can put in the 99 that utilize their ability incredibly fucking well is different from the commander being warrior mindset. Because if I use this guy and all I do is I make a 4/4 Valgavoth, I am not winning that fucking game. I am not winning that goddamn game. Like, yeah, the ward cost on Valgavoth, really hard to deal with. Still, a 4/4 flying lifelinker. People deal with 4/4 flying lifelinkers in fucking draft, you guys. Again, the reading comprehension is literally... Guys, I understand it's the beginning of the stream. We currently have negative reading comprehension. I'm not saying that this can't be good. I'm not saying that this can't be made into a very, very powerful deck. I'm saying there's a difference between there's a ton of ways to make this effect be incredibly powerful, and this effect is incredibly powerful by necessity. Because yes, if you go, okay, I'm going to make a 3-mana Toxrill, that's incredibly powerful. I'm going to do like 3-mana versions of every like Phyrexian Praetor that turns the game off. Yes, that's very powerful. That is the ceiling of this commander. But you don't have to, like, you can build a Hashatan deck that plays Magic effectively that doesn't use those cards. Which is the point I'm making. The copy is still a legendary. Sky Sakari, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Like, I think there are totally legitimate options for Hashatan that don't break the game in half, which I think disqualifies him from being warrior mindset. Because you can make him a very, very powerful commander. I'm not saying there aren't going to be builds with this guy where you're like, oh, that's unfair as fuck. Zahir, the 99 is crazy important. The 99 is much more important for Hashatan than his effect is in general. Hashatan's effect in general is a relatively blank canvas that you can go in a lot of directions with. And if you go in the like Toxrill direction, nobody's going to talk to you, but at least you're going to win a commander game, so there's something. Included in the Toxrill direction are things like Elish Norn. Yeah, turn 3 Elish Norn. I'm blocking you. I'm blocking you on MySpace, but you did win the commander game, so good for you. But, like, turn 4 Mothra is strong and entirely deal withable. Turn 4 Mothra is a very good thing to put out and does not really stacks up the game, does not win the game for you. Or if a 4/4 flying lifelinker wins the game for you on turn 3, you got to stop playing with sick children. You got to stop playing in the Cancer Ward of St. Jude's. Let those kids rest. Wolf, that is a good point, that you can make shitty creatures into 4/4s, which is kind of funny. Like shitty creatures with good effects stronger. And I believe someone else brought up the idea of like me when my Esper Sentinel is a 4/4. That's pretty. I do kind of like that. Yes, Brainslayer. Anointed Procession would double the tokens that you make, but it would limit you from. It would fuck up any time you were trying to copy legendaries. Yes, Iceman. I do see this, and I do agree with the way you are putting it. I would love this in Esper Wheels. I really don't think you wheel. You need so much more mana than the average Esper player can ever afford. Like, everybody talks about an Esper player's mana spending like they are assuming Smothering Tithe is on the board. And it almost never is. Most of the time, the Esper player is actually broke as fuck, and they are just desperately holding on to one fierce guardianship, and it is all that is standing between them and annihilation. Most Esper players have like 4 lands, 1 mana rock, and a fucking faint hope of counterspelling the thing that's going to kill them. But yeah, if you do, I think wheels with this guy are like crazy aspirational. You probably want just like, this is frantic search deck. That's what this guy is. You know who Hashitan's best fucking friend is? It's probably some version of this effect where you don't spend mana to do it, but you just want every loot effect in the goddamn world. Just draw 1, discard 1. Merfolk Looter. Okay, that's the one that doesn't cost any mana. Yeah. 1/1, draw, discard. We happy. We're happy. Oh, let me actually get into the YouTube chat correctly. Repeating tortured existence. See, I feel like this is for sure a warrior mindset interaction. Like, the tortured existence interaction with Hashitan is so strong that I think there is going to be like a trench that separates different power levels of Hashitan deck, and any Hashitan deck that is running tortured existence is in like a different country than non-tortured existence decks are. It's definitely good, but it's so good that it's very like not as good as Rhystic Study, but I think it's going to be the same type of like border distinction between, are you doing that bullshit to us? And I'm not doing that bullshit to you, is going to be whether or not your Hashitan deck is running Tortured Existence. Also, Miabyte, thank you so much for the raid. Hello, raiders. We're talking about Aether Drift spoilers, and then we're going to be roasting some community. Nope. I tried to raid back instead of shout out. That's not how that works. In this community, we are all kind of idiots, and we laugh at each other for it. I canceled it in time. I canceled it in time. We're okay. We're not raiding. We stopped it. I hit no. Weirdest One and C Capulet and Yosebi, thank you all for the subs, my friend. Welcome back to the dog home. Thank you for getting me back into Magic. Also, both my parole officer and bank would like a word with you. I don't live in the continental U.S. anymore. As of 5 seconds ago, you can tell your parole officer to suck one. You saw through my plan to steal your viewers by... Dave Lupo, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. I appreciate those Jeffrey dollars. And Eifer and Concuro King chapter, welcome to the dog house, my friend. Your Honor. I was capping. Oh, perfect, Dave. I will be at MagicCon Chicago. Miabyte, I'm doing good. We are about to get into deck roasting for the day. Speaking of, let's call roll. So these are the six. These are the six that are on the docket for today. We have Moonstalker, Carcinogenics, Aristime, Shade, Jones, Wormot, and Geode. And we're also going to be using our new Commander deck personality alignment chart. DMC, probably. I've been intensely sleep deprived for the past 3 days. So I am kind of... I'm kind of wiggly right now. It's very important to know that I'm a little bit skittish at the moment. And so if I've anything I read, right out the ear. Right out the ear right now. Spellbreaker, I think I liked New Sahili is the thing. But I don't know who the fuck Satya is. Is Satya... Satya sounds like a Jeskai precon, and I don't fuck with Jeskai like that. So that's probably why. Shades, don't worry. We're going to do big hydrates. Big hydrates in just 1 second, I promise. How am I building the new Simic god? I'm bricking him up into a wall and listening to his heartbeat slow down as I taste various wines. Oh, Satya's the MH3 energy deck? Yeah, I don't give a fuck about them. Mald, could you imagine a Hastoret deck that runs Hair Appearance? What's Hastoret? Are you misspelling Hashatan or is Hastoret? So I feel like you misspelled Hashatan. And Iceman, I'm going to tell you it's really bad if you do that. Don't do Hashatan Hair Appearance. Not even because like, oh, you're evil, but because like that won't work. Like that's not don't build a death ray. This is me telling you don't put sugar in your gas tank. It's literally just not going to go anywhere. You're just going to fail. You're not even going to fail in a cool Evel Knievel way. You're just going to trip in front of your crush and cry a little bit. Yes, Shudda's Valgavoth deck would be in Chaotic Soap Opera, probably. Cracking up and talking GOAT D&D. Thank you for the Twitch follows. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Matt, I listened to Matt Rice on YouTube is asking, what music do I listen to? And I'm here to tell you guys, my taste in music is extremely shitty. I think here, we'll do Mald's because this question actually comes up quite a lot. So we're going to do Mald's music taste. So this is going to be artists that I listen to. So there's Tobe Nwigwe, there's Norman San, Connor Price, God, I think he goes back and forth. What the fuck does he currently call himself? Hold on. And then it's not I don't know why he's presenting in my head as Hobo Samuel. He was on the Tiny Desk competition, did the like Peach Stones. Who the fuck is this? Why can't I remember his name? Oh, it's Hobo Johnson. Hobo Johnson. Okay, so I got the first half right. Hobo Johnson. Here, let me look through. Prof. There's a different prof that makes music. There's the singular song Blueberry Faygo. I do not listen to Lil Mosey as an artist, but I've listened to the song Blueberry Faygo more times than I can count. Oh, Hozier. I have a great amount of Hozier on there. Let's see, who else do we got? I'm trying to find other people who I have like multiple tracks of, so that it's more indicative of this is the type of artist I listen to. This is so outside of the number one spot, none of these are in order, but this is generally the type of music. Am I old for not knowing literally any of these artists or songs? I don't really know, because there's kind of some of them are kind of newish. Yeah, Conqueror, I fucking love Prof. I've not listened to The Deer Hunter. A girl once told me I look like Hozier. It was not until months later that I realized she was hitting on me. Truly, I am out of touch with the world. Weirdest, my heart goes out to you. I would suggest that you don't look at the Twitch stream for the next like 10 seconds. For no reason in particular, I would just suggest not paying any attention to the Twitch stream for a little bit. But anyway, the music I listen to, yeah, well, I feel like Connor Price is more mainstream but less famous than Hozier, if that makes sense. Is that a comparison that people agree with? I feel like Hozier, way more famous. Connor Price, way more mainstream. We resonating with that at all? Like, Hozier is just like Hozier is weird and everybody loves it. Connor Price is not weird at all. Oh, E-Double, yeah. I do listen to a lot of E-Double. I'm just like not in my E-Double phase right now, but I do fuck with E-Double. What genre are all of these people in? Tobe is a rapper. Norman Sand's a rapper. Connor Price is a rapper, but it makes rap fans angry if you call him a rapper. The Rat Mice, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. I appreciate those Bezos bucks for half a year. Thank you for the support. Boogie with the Hoodie, okay. Also rap. Hobo Johnson, weird guy. Prof, also rap. Blueberry Faygo, rap. Hozier, I'm gonna go with weird guy again. Rise Against, rock? I don't really know. Rukak, I'm pretty sure those aren't the Prof songs. Is Tasha, and then is like... I don't know. Is Tasha is just like angry. I'm Mad19. Thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Okay, we have Sad Pop as a recommendation for what Hozier is. Donnie, I don't know anything about computers. So, I mean, the thing about The thing about Connor Price is incredible rap when you aren't trying to listen super deeply and you just want something catchy. Like I'll tell you guys this for free. All all of all of the most successful Commander roasts I have done have been scripted while listening to Connor Price songs on repeat. I don't care if we don't think the bars are all that good. I don't care if we don't think he's got incredible flow or anything like super creative. Um, but there is an undeniable vibe to the shit he been making. Brit Bread, you haven't missed too much. We've gone on a music tangent for a little bit. We're about to hit the ad break and then get into the deck roasting. I saw Carcinogenics is here. I saw Aristime is here. I'm pretty sure Shade Jones is here. So Wormot, Moonstalker, and Geode, if you are here, please sound off. Yeah, Nickelback of rap is a really good way to put it. I do think Connor Price is kind of like the Nickelback of rap. Okay, Wormot's here, Shade's here, and then the last person we're looking for, Moonstalker's here. Great, so everybody is here. So now that we have definitively tier listed in no particular order some of the music I listen to, and Geode is here today. We are going to do our manual ad break so that nobody gets ads during a deck roast and that we don't have pre-rolls for any new friends who join us during a deck roast. And then we're going to get into it. Yeah, Iceman, Savior fucks. I love Savior. Have you seen Salubrious Snail's tool for mana bases? Oh yeah, we're probably going to utilize that today. Somebody in my Discord was mentioning to me that we should grab that. So I'm going to copy this. I exchanged a brief sentence with them about it, and they said that like it does have some limitations, but as long as you understand what decks it can and can't analyze well. Oh, I'm not doing that. That's way too much work. No, I'm just going to go off vibes and say you guys are good or not. Alec Man, no, I did not see the Jeskai question. So Malevolence, you got pre-rolls and... I'm typing it so that Malevolence can see it, but because I had not run any ads for the first half hour of stream, we did the first half hour of stream with pre-rolls still on. Twitch ads are so whimsical. Check out Corpiclani. Oh, this either looks like... I don't trust that. Oh, they're Finnish? Maybe. Maybe. Besides Simic, what is the color combo you dislike the most? I mean Bant. It's just Simic with stacks. If you're talking about other two color combos, I think probably Orzhov, just because they never get the opportunity to like break out of the mold of, okay, we are aristocrats, we are doing drain effects, we are going to have peasants, and we are going to throw leeches at your face. Enjoy. Oh, thank you, Iceman. Yeah, Moonstalker, the good left undone rocks. What's up, bear with me? We have 57 seconds until our ad break ends, and then we are going to get into the first deck roast of the day. Mauld, what is your opinion on lies and subterfuge for votes secretly effects? I'm a big believer, Eris, that there is a like continental divide between people who think you can lie explicitly in Commander and people who think you can only lie implicitly. I'm currently on the team of you can lie implicitly. You can imply false things. You can attempt to lead people down the wrong path for their threat assessment. But short of things like, do you have X card in your hand? And answering with, I'm not going to tell you, I think it makes the game worse if you explicitly lie about things. If you say I can lie explicitly, I can make a deal with you and go back on it, and that doesn't matter because it's in the spirit of the game for me to beat you however I can, including by outright trickery, I think that kind of sucks. But I do think if you have 4 people who are all believers in that, that can still work. You just need everybody at the table to either be on the game plan of, as soon as we draw our 7, nobody trust a word out of our fucking mouths. This is Among Us. We're all trying to murder each other. Get ready. Or you need 4 people who are on the same page of, we're not going to lie. We might try to trick each other. We might try to be deceitful, but we're not going to be deceitful by saying, oh, I'm not going to use X spell, and then immediately use it 30 seconds later. Abysmal BR, thank you for the Prime sub, my friend. Welcome to the dog home. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. Just helping Mauled with I have kisses, also 30 for the beard. You can't have it. We had an explicit lie table and I had a lot of fun. That said, absolutely everyone has to be on the same page. Yeah, that is the core point. Is I do think you can make it work if everybody is just straight up lying, but you do have to, everybody has to be together before the game with, we're going to be liars. If I recall correctly, is your favorite color pair, but why is it that just adding white to making it a Jeskai means you do not fuck with it anymore? I've just never found that the white adds anything interesting to it, and the white is typically being added as a way to convert its ephemeral advantage engines into long-term advantage engines, which I find really fucking boring. Like, most Jeskai decks that I would be drawn to are, okay, this is an is-it deck, but now we're going to make way more tokens. And we're going to have Smothering Tithe. And that's going to let us make way more treasures. And we're going to have all these ways to make our advantage persist and be harder to play against, which is not very interesting to me. I really like is-it decks that generate temporary advantage and seeing what I can do with that temporary advantage, rather than I'm going to build up a massive board state and then our armies are going to clash together. Any opinion on your favorite card type, Planeswalker, getting an artifact added to the mix? So for the Aether Spark, I am both really mad. I think the card is both heinously designed and beautifully designed. I think the heinous part of the design is making it unattackable sucks ass. That makes me freak out. And the fact that it is just generic, everybody gets to do everything they want. I understand that narratively, but that's kind of like serving people the shittiest charcuterie plate ever because you said, you know, the goal was to build something that paired well with saltines. You did it. That doesn't make it good. But it being an artifact does matter because it being an artifact makes it way more removable, which I think is very positive. The thing I dislike the most about Planeswalkers is how much targeted removal they dodge outside of combat damage. And it being an artifact makes it much more hittable by a lot of the modal spells or a lot of the toolbox spells that people bring to a commander table. So that does bring it back for me. Is, okay, it's ducking being attacked, but now I can abrade it. Dope. Half Ghoul 6, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. And Danny Twitch, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. Related alternative question, why do you like adding black into Izzet to make it Grixis? I think also for the like ephemeral advantage thing. I think Grixis is more of I want to play at high power, and black is typically being used to give access to crazy card draw or crazy tutors to keep the deck at the power level necessary to play with the table. But it is generally like Grixis is looking for its opening and then is trying to pounce and win the game, rather than something like Selesnya, which is trying to gradually build up a larger and larger board state until they are totally unstoppable and they can just kind of like fall towards you and kill you with their weight. Grixis still has to wait for its moment, but black's access to tutors, black's access to additional fast mana, black's access to frankly broken cards like Necropotence mean if I'm trying to play at the CEDH level or even the like really high power level, the overall tools are better while still keeping that same energy. Welcome to the stream, Keon. I'm very glad to have you. Also, you get to be a little edgy. Good point, Chef. Good point for sure. Okay. Let's get into the first deck. First up is going to be Moonstalker. So for anybody that's not been to one of these before, my patrons send me, or not even patrons anymore, the roasties send me a primary deck list and a power rating. We don't accept 1 through 10. 1 through 10 is wrong and bad. What we accept is silly to spooky to scary, which is a rating originally developed by my friend Danny Phantom EXE as a measure of how ominous your turns are to somebody who knows about Magic, so knows what some win cons typically look like, and is paying attention to the game. They're not on their phone. They are actively keeping track of what your cards do, what their cards do, how many cards you have in hand, that type of shit. But the main thing we're judging you on is your adherence to your primer. This should be a paragraph that tells me what the deck's play pattern is going to be, what the deck aspires to, what your favorite color is, and if I think you are lying to me about what the deck does, then I'm going to get you. Okay? If you tell me your deck is about war crimes and the deck list is 99 photos of George Bush Jr., okay. I think you should be in prison, as he should, but okay. Now, if you tell me the deck is a fun house for kids and your deck list is a bunch of trash cans and lighters, then we'll come get you, okay? We're gonna end up here. Nobody wants to be here. I need to move this screen a little bit. I can see that it's fucked up in OBS. Hold on. You're going to end up here. So let's actually see if this other one's correct. Oh, look at that. Hey, wow. Crazy story, gang. What is... Let me... Oh, unlock this. Yeah, okay. There we go. All right. Whoa, free bottom surgery. Game Soup, it is astounding how common a response that is in our community to the shoot your dick off screen is wow, free bottom surgery. So we will probably be changing the alignment chart as we go because this is just, I thought of this alignment chart mid bench press at the gym this morning. So this is definitely a first draft. I think we will refine it more as we go. Obama is silly. Bush is spooky. Henry Kissinger is scary. That... You're right. You're right. So, White, it's very possible, I'm going to say this, It is very possible to have a deck that is both silly and scary, and those decks are, without exception, terrible, and they need to be fixed. If your deck is silly, scary, what that means is that it is usually very, very bad, but there is one specific set of circumstances that can align. Mercury can be in retrograde after you have had a good night's sleep and remember to put moisturizer on, and then the deck will pop off and win, and there's nothing any of your friends can do about it, and those decks are universally dog shit. Silly, scary is a derogatory designation in this stream. If your deck is silly, scary, it means we're going to fix you. Person Guy 101, thank you for the prime sub, my friend. Welcome to the dog home. I appreciate that generosity. Would Pirate Kindred vehicle theft deck be a war crime? Probably not. That's probably, honestly, that's probably going to go in greedy EDH rec. I love theft, but I'm imagining you're playing Edward Kenway, and you're probably playing... Here, let's soul read Wolf real quick. Oh no, it's Uwu voice Edward Kenway. So we're probably playing Edward Kenway. We're probably playing a ton of vehicles. And then we're probably playing a ton of pirates. And I'm going to guess those pirates also have theft effects. Yeah, correct. Yeah, you're greedy EDH rec. What would playing for a draw be? You are chaotic spiteful. Easily. Yes, Relic, your museum is chaotic soap opera. Does each alignment segment have a card that embodies them harder than others? No, John. The important part about the alignment chart is no one card can put you on the chart. Your overall personality alignment cannot be deduced just because you put Rhystic Study in your casual deck. That will definitely be a point in certain directions, but the chart itself is the confluence of all the different things you are doing with your deck, because decks always do more than just one thing in particular. Where in the chart does banding put you? We're going to add a square for banding. So, without any more ado, because we've currently had 45 minutes of just straight up ado, we are going to do Moonstalker 3/3/1's deck. This is a silly deck. The purpose of this deck is to play Fort, not Pillow Fort. Most win cons are damage based, but we also have Maze's End and Triskaidekaphobia to help put a timer on the game. Unfortunately, that timer is still very slow. There are pieces that need assembling if we want walls to swing. Phobia's 1 point of life lost on upkeep in Commander is kind of pathetic, and getting 10 gates out on the battlefield is difficult. Commander is consistent for if we need something indestructible or if we need to throw hands. Plus, we can pump up his damage if we get to late game. Would love suggestions on anything that would help speed the deck up, but don't want to go too far off the general theme, so non-defender creatures and non-gate lands must be kept to a minimum. Mortar Peril. That is a block. This throws walls at you. That is a good opening. That is a very strong opening. 200. I'm going to move chat out of the way for this. What happened? Did you happen to lose a third of your mana base in a house fire, Moonstalker? I'm not even going to look at this list. Hey, you said this is silly? I believe you. Do you ever cast a single fucking creature? You said this was walls. I don't know of many walls that tap for mana, Moonstalker. I don't know of many walls that happen to have fucking gold in them, except for the one from Foundations, and I'm sure you're not fucking on it. You're starting off here. You're starting off here on the simple fact that I don't even need to use Salubrious Snail's wonderful new mana-based calculator to know that this is incredibly irresponsible. I know for a fact this deck does not understand what a progressive tax bracket is. There is no fucking chance. There is no fucking chance you know how to use credit card points if you have 26 lands in this fucking deck. Because I need colors. 36 lands. Hold on. I have to figure out why only 26 of these are tagged as lands. There's a couple more walls tapping for mana. Okay. We'll see. Oh shit, we are on the Foundations land. Or what's the curve? I mean, this curve is sad enough. This curve is sad enough that 26 lands is not impossible. It's pretty bad still. What if I just recruited an army of pigeons? So you said, what if my walls aren't good enough? I'm going to conscript a bunch of birds to shit on them, and then I'm going to hope that the bird shit convinces everyone to leave me alone? Okay, so we have a good wall commander hiding in here. The next question we need to answer is, why is Arcades not the commander of the wall deck? Yeah, for sure. What is the... So if the premise of the deck is walls, and we already have big wall dragon, what is it Kyodai for? Because I wanted 5-color walls. Okay. There's no chance Kyodai is the ideal commander for this deck. So the first edit we're going to make to this commander deck is we're going to white out this motherfucker. We are going to white out this son of a bitch. Okay, so Prismatic Bridge is definitely better, but it's also lame as fuck. So I'm going to scroll past that for now. Omnath Locus of All would also be better, especially because you could take a Sharpie. Now stay with me. You take a Sharpie and you go Omnath Locus of Wall. Think about it. First Sliver, Najila, Ulalek, none of these are going to matter. We do have King in a Castle theming with kind of... Okay, hold on. That's funny. we like... All right, we like Locus of Wall. I'm just saying, we scoot that over a little bit. We get Omnath Locus of Wall, and then he's climbing over the walls. Like, it does not help with a ton of our problems, but at minimum it gives us a little bit of card advantage, which I'm positive this deck needs. I don't think any of these matter. We definitely don't want Cody because we have to cast a bunch of permanent spells. Is there a way for me to force you to play Niv Mizzet? We have like no color pairing going on. I saw one or two. Most of these are slivers, which really sucks. Ooh, could we do Tazri? Do our walls have activated abilities? Not really. Good. Adrix BP, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Okay. I think the best options to keep it within the theming of walls are either to do Kenrith, King in the Castle, or Omnath, Locus of Wall, and you Sharpie a W onto the all. Alyara5, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Okay, we like Locus of Wall, so immediately we're going to scrub out Kyodai because he does literally nothing for us. Yeah, Omnath needs his W. Perfect. So we have a few lands that will provide colors. What is the... Now we are also basically on no... Oh, but you said five colored just because. This is your maniacal vision, and we're going to adhere to it, even if it has no bearing on the deck's playability. In a world where your mana base is already stretched to the breaking point, having a removal spell that has 2 different pips is insane when you're in 5 colors. I'm begging you to talk about the elephant in the room and just zap your problems with... Oh, actually even better, you gotta stroke them. Simply stroke your foes. Ben Smash, thank you for the 250-bit cheer. Only cheering this much so I can spook Troper into earning their number 2 spot. That's my GOAT. I love a little competition. Kyodai's Horde. There is no chance we need that red pip. Literally 0, unless I see fucking jump scare Krenko somewhere in this deck. I actually... Okay. Real quick. Let me pull out the soapbox real fast. I like Honored Heirloom. I think more people should run it. I recognize it's not particularly good. You have not lived until you, in response, exile the reanimation player's reanimation target. It's just good. It's just good. It's just a good all-arounder. Like if you are playing if your deck is at the zip code where it's appropriate to play 3 mana rocks, a 3 mana rock that has utility stop a reanimation player is hot. That's all I'm saying. I have no idea, Alec Man, because I don't know what Ketramos is. You've also got to... What I'm seeing... Now I have Whiplash. These cards were giving me broke bitch vibes, which is never how we should build a commander deck in theory. And then there's Timeless Lotus, which is $18 and just gives us every color. But we don't have Chromatic Lantern. We don't have any of the rocks that tap for 2 colors. And those are the ones we need. I'm also going to keep it a stack with you. If you have a dumb commander idea, you should not go budget. Okay, if you have an absolutely idiotic commander idea, like you need organic vegetables for the you need micronutrients, bro. Jay Arlington, my best friend in the entire world, thank you for the raid. Guys, if you don't know, me and Jay go way back for all of never. I was the best man at all 8 of their weddings. We've been friends for a very, very long time, beginning right now. Thank you very much for the raid, Jay. I hope that you had a very good stream. We are here making fun of very possibly the worst wall deck in existence. So I pulled most of these over the years. I spent a bit to get cool walls and a few gates. So Moonstalker, do you understand how that sentence means you didn't actually build this deck? God built this deck, and he built it badly because he's not real. That's what happened here. Is if you say, I'm taking all this from things that I pulled over the years, you are the 80-year-old woman in a Vegas casino chain smoking while she yanks on a slot machine. So for this mana base section, everything in there should get replaced with the Talisman of blank. Talisman of Fixing Mana. Land stuff. Because we can remark on the deck from the perspective of, I built this exclusively through things I pulled, and do you know what the most honest observation I can make about this deck through that lens is? It's that you are an unlucky person. If you built this deck exclusively through things you have pulled, Yugi does not love you. Okay, it means I'm never crossing a street next to you, because the chances that you get hit by a bus have to be triple the chances of the baseline. Okay, I'm never buying a lottery ticket if you're in the tri-state area. You probably have an anti-luck field that exudes from your body if this deck was assembled with all of the fucking diamonds and mana geode. Teddy Bear, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub and the follow. Welcome to the doghouse and the dog home, my friend. I appreciate that generosity. So because Tree of Perdition would be a funny way to win, you know what? I kind of agree with this. How bad is it that I only decided to build Rev because I pulled her in a pack? I think it's fine to open a commander and be struck by inspiration and then build a deck around that commander because you've been so inspired. And one thing that's also fun, one thing that's also pretty fun is building a deck at a convention with stuff that you open at the convention, but that has to be done on the understanding that the deck is going to be dog shit bad. It's really, if you want a deck that is going to function, and you want a deck that is going to be like a project that actually says something about you as a player, then buy singles. What the fuck are we doing? If you just build it out of stuff that you've opened, you're basically playing draft but long term. And if you're just doing like a 5-year commander draft, like the deck's going to be bad, and we're going to miss out on a lot of elements of your creativity that were stifled by the simple fact that you didn't open any of the cards that would have been useful. God damn, Teddy Bear, thank you so much for the 1,000-bit cheer. Just a lurker here to start fights over the top spots. That is so generous. Thank you very much. And that does break a chair over the back of whoever was in the number 4 spot. Because we need draw and mana. So we have a mana dork that cares about defenders. And holy fuck, good card sighted. Call the cops. Playable card spotted. And Factor. This gotta be the only deck that Factor Fiction can't save you. Like straight up, you Factor Fiction me with this deck, I'm passing you 5. I'm not even making the piles. There's going to be a tear in my eyes. I pass you the entire pile of 5 and say, please, do you need anything else? Okay, and then more ramp. Bribing the building crews. I think Assemble the Players is clever. Come at me, bro. Sure, is wall. Let me cook, damn it. So this is us. Who is removing your stuff? You have to have hurt that person in real life if they're going to attack this deck. I believe that you're collateral damage to a board wipe, but who is shooting anything that this deck plays? Yeah, Vulcan, that's how I understood Factor Fiction. They piled, I'm saying if I'm this deck's opponent and they do Factor Fiction, and I'm the opponent making the 2 piles, I'm giving you a pile of 5 and a pile of 0 so that you can just put 5 into your hand because holy fuck, you need the help. This has to be somebody who sees you play Kyodai and is like, oh my god, it's going to be a 5-color dragon deck. And then they just feel worse and worse and worse as you play gate after gate after gate. Oh, gated community. Okay, Grim Contest is a little bit clever. Show them the door. Oh my god, gates are useful. They've breached the perimeter, so the theming is good. So immediately, I mean, we're in soap opera. I mean, I think we already know, don't we? I think the writing is on the wall and it is now on the PowerPoint slide. This is Telemundo's next special. How do you say? Welcome to Telemundo's next show, Muros Estúpidos Más Pájaros Estúpidos. Todos Sábidos Cinco Cinco. You motherfucker. Kyodai being Flash is honestly their biggest upside. See, the thing is, for Flash to have upside, the card needs to do something once we play it. It having upside it has a little bit of dopamine upside. It has a very small amount of dopamine upside because you can play it at any time. But good God, it's bad. Okay, once again, good tags followed by one good card and 4 pieces of unrepentant dog shit. Just little guys, probably. This is the one time where I don't even think the probably is ominous. You brought Fog Bank in a defender. You're going to turn this in from a 0-2 into a 2-2? Sure. Every wall in the game. You got it. We have the one red wall. And we have Pramicon. Yeah, I think for sure the worst part about this deck is we have 2 or 3, we have a couple individual cards that we have no way to consistently grab that turn this deck into a bouncy house made of bombs and just make it overwhelmingly powerful. And those cards are Arcades and Pramicon to a lesser degree, and Assault Formation to a lesser degree. Because you can't break the defender restriction in your command zone, that means on average, this deck plays Jenga while everybody else plays Commander. But because we still have Arcades somewhere in here, if we ever play Arcades, we are now the #1 threat at the table, because now every creature in our deck replaces itself and actually has a good stat line. I think that is still very chaotic soap opera of you, and I implore you that we have to do better. Let's see. We do have High Alert. So High Alert's the other. We have 4 real cards in the whole deck. So let's play test it and see how it goes. Okay, and we have 9 Fingers Keen. Every land enters tapped, which is definitely good for us. It's definitely fine. We can play... Well, we could have had this out, and we can play... I don't even think we want to play Crackling Perimeter, because it deals damage to each opponent. And if we start dealing damage to our opponents on turn 3, they're just going to beat us to death, and we have no other game actions we can take. So I'm going to play another tapped gate and play Tuk Tuk Rubble Fort instead, and hope that nobody at this table likes to beat up children. Okay, we have 5 land. Oh, look, we flash in Kyodai. We fucking got him. We flash in Kyodai. We play another wall. Or actually, we probably do explore the Underdark, and we look for some gates. Take Basilisk Gate. I'll take Black Dragon Gate. Oh, and we have the initiative, so we get a basic as well. Holy shit, we're going to win the game. One basic that you better have, that you have it. You have a swamp. I'm gonna kiss you on the forehead and tuck you in goodnight, bro. I can't. Why do we... How could you do this? It's not funny. Fail to find... It's funny. There are definitely some things in this game. There are definitely some things in this game that can be funny where you go like, haha, synergy doesn't work. Haha, synergy doesn't work. Me failing to find a basic in a deck that already doesn't work is not one of those things. You do not have the dick to be making promises like this. You are out, okay? We are already out of shaft after the fucking dog shit commander, after the fact that we are secret commander Arcades against our own will. Put one goddamn basic in. I don't know about you, but watching a toddler fuck up existing is pretty funny. I think it can be, but this doesn't even... Maybe that's the clear difference here, because I don't fuck with children like that. I don't really like kids. I don't really find kids cute either. And this is very reminiscent of a baby failing to eat mushed peas for like 40 minutes straight. And I know that that kills some people. So maybe that's just Moonstalker's vibe, is maybe if you stuck them in a room with a baby that just failed to eat squash for half an hour straight, Moonstalker would just be cracking the fuck up the entire time. But that's not me. And in this house, we put in one island and we call it good. Okay, turn 7. I'm cycling this so that we can maybe draw a real card. Oh, good. More... We are not even making it on the chart with this one. We are not even making it. We are not making it out of the pre-alignment chart holding room with this one, Moonstalker. There is a baseline level of participation you have to have with your commander decks. There is a baseline level of being able to play Magic the Gathering we should have before you sit down with a commander deck. You would be more useful if you just made people snacks and tried to provide color commentary to the commander game than you are by playing lands and casting allegedly spells. So I think we can fix this. It is fixable. There's a lot of rehab. There's a lot of rehab that we have to go through, because the main way we're going to win is Maze's End. That's kind of fine. It's kind of fine. There are some gate cards that we're really missing, like Guild Summit. which is just a one-off card that's particularly good. The next problem we're going to come up against is I'm a big fan of tutors, and I'm a very big fan of tutors, especially when the deck is bad. Your deck certainly qualifies for utilizing tutors because otherwise the deck is a failure, and that additional consistency can really help it reach that baseline level of competency. However, the caveat to me believing that tutors are good in casual is I think they are bad if you always tutor for the same card. And I cannot imagine a single situation in which you don't tutor for Arcades. Truly, truly, I cannot imagine any situation in the game where Arcades is not the best option for you to get with a tutor, and I think that puts the deck in a really bad place. If you always tutor for the same card, just put additional copies of that card in. Yes, cheat at Commander. Sure, how did I not think of that? If you always find yourself tutoring for Arcades, just run 98 copies of Arcades in your deck. But because the thing is, Arcades does not have, I see what you're saying, Tangerine, in terms of put an equivalent effect in. Arcades does not have an equivalently powerful effect with defenders, because it's not really that the defenders can now deal damage. That's kind of nice, but this deck is not really trying to win that way. I think Arcades is useful because it lets them draw cards to maybe get enough gates to do Maze's End. So I'm actually going to recommend dropping Arcades if you want to commit to the if you want to commit to the Maze's End game plan, then you need to drop Arcades. Otherwise, this is Secret Commander Arcades, and then is just kind of weak on accident because of gates. You've picked two different win cons that are both very support specific. Defender decks need to be all about their defenders. Gate decks need to be all about their ramp and all about their gatekeeping. And you've decided to run both at once with a commander that does nothing for you. I do not know that there is saving that. I do not know that there is any saving that while still having the deck retain any degree of cohesion. And so if you want the deck to be cohesive and playable, then I would either pick the gate package to cut, and I can't recommend that in good faith, because then you just have an Arcades deck, and then you're not invited to the function for entirely different reasons, because Arcades decks always fail to be interesting. So if we do it with Omnath, Locus of Wall, this one has me kind of stumped. This one truly has me a little bit stumped because it's just so bad, and there's so few ways to save it. Terratrox, you have a good point with, like, you might actually have to go Pillow Fort and try to make this like, this is a Maze's End deck, but instead of using propaganda to stop you from attacking me, I'm just going to use this big ass wall to stop you from attacking me. Chief, yeah, this is definitely a deck that was sent in. I mean, it's a deck that was sent in that was like, I made it out of my personal collection. You are a hateful bitch, and I will live every day in spite of you, Moonstalker. Yeah, honestly, I would cut the wall animation. I made this for fun and it is one before. So, let's bring up a general rule for this stream, which the fact that a deck is capable of winning a game of Commander says almost nothing about the deck and says almost everything about the people you play with. If you if anybody if anybody attempts to defend a ridiculous deck by saying, "Oh, well it wins in my pod," all that tells me is that you are a liar. Either you're lying to me about it winning, or you lie to your pod about what it does. Or your pod is a bunch of 5-year-olds and you lied about the activity that you were engaging in and you told them that it was some new form of like poker or blackjack and they wanted to play like the adults. And then you said, surprise, commander damage. Just because your deck can win in spite of the cards that you put in it does not justify their placement in the deck. And so overall, I think you probably drop, like if you want the deck to play commander, you drop the wall animation and you just do gates. If you want the deck to throw walls at people, you drop all this gate bullshit and you can still do 5-color walls, and then it's just a highly variable deck. Um Oh, but yeah, especially with Maze's End. Like Maze's End, if people don't read what it does or just get distracted by their phones and aren't keeping count of how many gates you have, Maze's End is an ever-present way to potentially snipe a commander game. Yeah, so I would try to decide between those two and then move forward from there. Also, Ben Smash, thank you for the 500-bit cheer that I missed a little earlier. I'd say I'm spreading the wealth or competing with other cheers, but really I'm just using my new income to earn your affection. Ben, you have it. You have it, baby boy. Thank you very kindly. Stormblast almost good for gates, um but Moonstalker wants to do 5 colors. Yeah, I would either say make this more of a gates deck and you can still do walls. Like you can still do building kindred and everything in my deck, oh look, is a building and I'm going to win with gates and my walls are going to defend me until I can win with gates. But if you do that, stop worrying about animating them and just worry about the deck being able to play Magic in general. And if you don't want to do that, then I would just drop the gates entirely. So we're going to hope, I'm going to give an arrow for where I hope your trajectory can go. I'm going to believe that one day you can make this a tuned soap opera. I imagine that one day we will look upon this deck and it will have earned the reaction that its title got. But I think right now it's trying to do two different things that require far too much commitment to the bit. Yeah, also rooms don't exist, not a card type. Next up, we have carcinogenics. So carcinogenics, please sound off in Twitch chat. We're going to run our next manual ad break to make sure that we keep pre-rolls off and nobody gets ads in the middle of the next deck. I'm going to go refill my water, so I'll be right back, everybody. $4 on his pirate sharks. What the fuck are my pirate sharks, Doodles? Thank you, Moonstalker. I hope you enjoyed the roast, and I like the vision. I do want to impress upon you. I think the best way you can build a commander deck is take a stupid sentence that has nothing to do with the actual mechanics of Commander, and then try to find a way to make that work in Commander. So the thought process of, I'm going to throw walls at you, or the thought process, I want to make the phrase mortar peril mean something, is great. I just think the mechanics aren't there with both walls and defenders. But maybe it could be. Wormot, I probably got your email, and I probably did not update the list with it, so let me check. I hate you. I hate you. I see the change that you have submitted. We will roast this instead. Listen for sirens. All right, ad time is over. No, Dominic, your LGS is a bad person for letting you get up to that. We're going to move on to Carcinogenics deck, which is also silly. It's mono white control with a terrible win con I built the deck around. Oh fucking lord, we're going to have to once again go through the talk of one silly card does not need to be a commander deck. Some of you just need to have a fucking YouTube channel. Some of your decks just need to be a YouTube short about how much you like this one card in particular. This deck has been poorly tuned over the course of 3 years and was built solely due to bad impulse control bidding on an artist-proof 8.5 tails and my desire to fully magpie a terrible deck. Some people think they are immune to propaganda when they are not. This person is more dangerous. This is a person who fully knows how immune they are, how vulnerable they are to propaganda, and has just steered into the skid. $3,000? And we don't even have however much you paid on the actual 8.5 tails. We just have $3,000 on top of a 60-cent commander. Dog, if you don't make a YouTube channel fucking tomorrow... I'm going to be sending you a free playmat, Carson. I'm going to be sending you a free playmat. Don't touch it with your bare hands, but please play as much of this deck as you can on top of it. LOL. We have the most generic... LOL, the condom zone. I don't believe Painter's Servant is banned in Commander. Then we have Goblin Charbelcher, and we have Endless Horizons. So we just have two different two-card combos, and then I'm presuming the rest of the deck. This is not silly, first of all. This is not silly, even a little bit. This is at minimum spooky. Immediately seeing that your vision was not, I'm going to let my friends play Commander and then sometimes I'm going to pop off with this silly combo. Your vision was, I'm going to lock my friends in my basement until they laugh at the combo I think is silly, and they have begged me at length to stop running on casual Fridays. Holy shit. This is the most EDH wrecked. So EDH Rec did 95 of these cards. You got an artist proof of 8.5 tails. We have two card combos. And then it was the next 95 most common white cards on EDH Rec. And then also Vexing Bauble, just to make sure that we really twisted the knife. So big of you to not play Winter Orb, Static Orb. It's genuinely not EDH Rec. I just play a lot of Death and Taxes. See, I don't believe you because Death and Taxes works, and there's no way this does. I also play a lot of Death and Taxes. Do you know the difference between us? I've seen the sun. I've felt the touch of somebody who loves me. Do not blame this. Do not blame this on Comet. It's not just taxes. This is just death. This is just spiritual death. It works far better than it looks. No. I believe you that it works because we have 95 generic value pieces propping up this absolute bullshit premise. Like, wow. Are you telling me? Deep Gnome Terramancer works? You fucking maniac. You crazy buster, what do you mean? What do you mean preventing people from playing their commanders is effective? Water is wet, head-ass deck. You mean to tell me Smothering Tithe might be playable in Commander? Winter Moon? Perhaps a usable card? There is no way you just told me this deck works way better than it looks, and then I scroll down to multiple tutors. As well as Ristic Buddy. Sure, let's playtest this. Yeah, wow, incredible. I can't believe the hot tech. I cannot believe the amazing tech that turn 1 Sensei's Divining Top, turn 2 Drannith Magistrate. Insane, bro. Insane. Against all odds, this deck has done it. What an underdog story. What an underdog story. Alright, so we're going to top. I'm going to put a plains on top so that we can hit our land drop, and then... yeah, then we keep rocking. And then we're not this many turns ahead, but I just keep hitting next turn instead of draw a card. I genuinely wasn't sure what to label it as, so I went silly. It does defy convention a little bit. I think the best thing we can label this is like it's scary, but with erectile dysfunction. Because we have half of our 2-card win con in our opening hand, and then we hit a tutor on turn 4, so now we get... oh, but it only searches for enchantments, so we can't even get Goblin Charbelcher. I'm sure we can get like Smothering Tithe, or, you know, we can get something that will like help lock up the game for us. But it is mostly scary, but the win conditions suck. Which gives me a headache. And it gives me a headache mostly because there's no aura emanating from this deck. Like some decks, at least, like that wall deck, that had aura. The aura was of illiteracy, but it exuded something. This deck is just like, wow, all of these cards are really good, huh? This is like people come hang out at my house because my dad bought me an Xbox. The deck. We don't have... Because the ways to win aren't even silly either. It's just like two... Nah, Charbelcher's a little silly. I'll retract that statement. Charbelcher is a little bit silly. Grindstone and Painter's Servant is just... As soon as you tell me it's a 2-card infinite, we are minimum spooky territory. Once you tell me it's a 2-card infinite that I can tutor for, we get closer and closer. I would advocate for the Grindstone removal. The Grindstone is definitely only in here to be part of an infinite win con. But I think the greater problem is that we do not have any sort of long-term game plan other than get to the combo, which puts us into the territory of we are just a really, really bad CEDH deck. That is and I think that was at one point on the personality matrix, and it's since been taken off. But that is what this deck screams to me, is it's just a 0% win... it's a 0% win rate CEDH deck right now. Because all the stuff it does through the mid game, like you don't have any game plan that you're trying to push forward that is then just sometimes interrupted with, okay, now I'm going to kill you with this cannon. It seems like all we have is, I have a big scary cannon. Perhaps if my entire table has forgotten to bring flyers, I will kill you with Battle Angel of Tyr or with Court of Grace. But other than that, all of our stat lines suck. All of our value pieces don't even make value for us. They just stop other people from getting any value, which means that our ideal game state is 5 turns of awkward silence followed by you saying, well, I guess I got it. Which is like top 10 ways to get the shit beaten out of you on a playground. It's not even stumbling, Melon. That's why I said like 0% win rate CEDH, is all of the individual cards are so good that it's not doing this accidentally. Like there's some cards that do just bumble into their win condition. And this does not bumble awkwardly into the win condition. It's watching paint dry. Like first 2 turns we don't do anything. Then we do Burnished Heart. Now we can Linvala, which probably doesn't matter. We can get Basics, which probably doesn't matter. And the rest of this game is, okay, we play stacks pieces, and now we wait. Now we wait. Do we ever get to our win? Not really. But we can Farewell, or we can Wrath of God. And then we sure can bring some stuff back. And then we can keep waiting. It's been 12 turns. Paint is continuing to dry. In a perfect world, we've dealt maybe 15 points of damage. Yeah, I mean, I've eaten bologna sandwiches that were better artistic expressions than this deck. So we're definitely not going to say silly. If I look at the curve, it's like semi irresponsible in terms of making sure you can set up your stacks early. So I'm going to go with we're for sure going greedy spiteful. True to your namesake, I believe this deck's greatest power is its ability to give people cancer on sight. Because it is hateful. There is no narrative slight to this deck at all. All it wants to do is play one combo that it saw on a Nitpicking Nerds YouTube short 2 months ago. And that is its entire reason for existing. Maybe there's an 8.5 Tails deck that deserves to exist as an offshoot of this deck, as like a not a prequel but a postquel, a sequel to this deck. You could make a 8.5 Tails deck that was interesting. But my God, man. Like, this deck comes with a laugh track. Isn't Painter's Servant banned in Commander? I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's just a Shield of Emeria or whoever. No, it's banned in Oathbreaker. Yeah, so not banned. Oh, got unbanned. So previously banned in Commander. So Carson, pretty please, go to hell. Thank you for submitting this deck, I guess. You do disgust me. Oh, you know what? This is the deck list of someone who exclusively listens to Connor Price. That's how we tie this. That's how we tie this back to the music conversation. This is a mono white Nickelback ass deck. Everything about it is other things I've been told to like because of cards that were good in other formats. It's just iHeartRadio mono white edition. Yeah, I've missed the land destruction on the first take. This is just a fucking iHeartRadio list, but for Commander mono white stuff. Carson, I trust that one day you're gonna have a personality, but it's not today. We're gonna move on to Eris time. Eris, are you here? Rockhound, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Toast and butter deck. I don't even know if I would mind getting hit by Armageddon in this deck, because that would at least give me a pretense to scoop. Alright, Eris time. And Eris is a she, her. So she is a bitch. Her is a loser. Thank you, Rockhound. Alright, this deck is finally spooky for someone who is finally going to own up to the crimes they are committing. This deck is trying to play Group Hug with Volrath. This is challenge number 1, and there is 0 negotiation on this. So I'm trying to make a counters matter deck where I can keep people in check with a mix of -1/-1 counters and +1/+1 counters, giving people the tools to deal with the most threatening player. Then when it's just me and them, the plan is to try to use Reigns of Power and protect Volrath to swing with commander damage. It's a budget mana base, and I'm generally not willing to spend a lot more money on cards. I think interaction might be weak, but I'm unsure how to improve it or what to cut for that. So we will first go through the standing refutation of why you should not be adhering to a budget unless it is a rule your playgroup has set together. Even if it is a rule your playgroup has set together, it is a bad rule, but by and large, I think you should just be proxying, because once you start limiting by budget, a lot of people want to use the price of a card as a direct proxy for how strong that card is. It is related to how strong that card is, but it's also much more related to just how popular something is. So that's going to be influenced by things like colors. It's going to be influenced by things like social media hype. It's going to be vulnerable to a ton of things that don't actually deal with the playability of the card. For some direct examples of this, or an example of the inverse, go look at any Zada deck. You throw $30 at a Zada deck, it's going to make the room explode, and it's going to be entirely ridiculous, and budget's not going to mean a goddamn thing. Same goes for a card like Feather the Redeemed. Very, very cheap, doesn't matter. And especially if you're going, I'm keeping it budget on the mana base. You can build budget mana bases that still work, but there are a lot of budget cards where you're just kicking yourself in the kneecaps in ways that I don't think are particularly interesting. Doing a budget mana base is very similar to doing a like fists only run in World of Warcraft. You're not, which people have done. People have done, I level to max only punching things with my bare hands. And I think that is impressive, but it is impressive how stupid it is, because it doesn't add strategy to the game. It does not add any degree of strategy to the game to limit yourself in that way unless you are 5 color. So let's see how many colors Volrath is. He's 3 color. Yeah, for this, making your mana base budget is not limiting you in ways that are interesting. It is limiting you. I'm not going to contest that it does. Having a bad mana base limits how strong the deck is going to be. I don't think it limits it in a way that makes the game more exciting or feel more interactable to your friends, though. So that's going to be my initial refutation. So what does Volrath do on combat? Put a spit counter on one target creature. For 1 mana, you can make them become a copy of that creature, but it's big. So we're using the beginning of combat trigger to put -1/-1 counters on things, and we want to do this as a political leverage piece to make people like us. I think we can do this. I think you've probably done it wrong, but let's check on that. Give a +1/+1 counter away. You get a big thing. Give counters away, but you get benefits for it. Give counters away. Devoted Druid. I'm sure you have something fucked up that happens when you put +1/+1 counters on this. Generic counter good stuff. Good. Hey, good group hug. Good group hug here. Generic counter good stuff. Generic counter good stuff. Group hug. Generic. It is kind of funny that you are committing crimes as you help people. You're like Robin Hood. Okay. That's clever. That's clever, group hug. Headwear Hijacker, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. Okay. We can put, so we're giving counters away to a bunch of other stuff. Counters for my foes. Bounty counters, -1 counters. Then we have draw. You're in Simic, so I basically believe you at face value. If the Simic player says they're going to draw a ton of cards, like, yeah, it's probably going to happen. A lot of it is probably way too greedy and shouldn't work, but I've been through enough emoji playtests for one life to know that this is probably going to work. Give you stuff. Sure, yeah. Okay, fuck you. There's no way you need this. We're going to proliferate. Not that stuff. Excellent. 12 is exactly the type of number that I want to see here. The thing I'm most worried about at this point in the deck is we look like we're really, really heavy on the gaslighting part, and I don't believe in our ability to gatekeep and girl boss as much. A really important part of any group hug deck is navigating the transition between I'm helping you, I'm helping you, I'm helping you, to the gatekeeping part where you shut off the advantage that you're giving out and then you turn it around for yourself. I know you said reigns of power was the main thing you want to use, and that generally tells me that your game plan is to play for second, but every once in a while I get to win. I mean, I think we're kind of there, but I think we spend so much time fluffing our opponents that I don't think we do enough to bring them back down to earth, unless you play with a lot of people who have, like, if nobody plays Stompy, if nobody in your group is playing Big Stompy and your +1/+1 counters are the only source of other people getting power on board, then I believe that you can turn this around. But for the most part, it seems like this deck is I king make somebody, and then I hope that I draw Reigns of Power. And if I draw Reigns of Power, or if Volrath is unblockable, which, how are we doing that, by the way? What, is there one card in the 99 that makes Volrath unblockable, and that's what we're betting the house on? Ah, we're going to make Volrath copy our unblockable creatures. Got it. Can you hover over Cleopatra for a second longer? Yes, she's mega bullshit if you have a healthy amount of removal. Nico, to send a deck in, you either need to be a Patreon member or you need to purchase a deck roast on Ko-Fi. I mean, well and truly, I do not believe in you, but let's put this to the test and take it to the play test. But right now, I think you are a 8-year-old wearing glasses telling me how much you want to be an astronaut one day. I'm going to move myself over here and move Twitch chat up just that I'm not blocking the hand in this playtest. All right. So we're going to play a land. Then we can get Gyre Sage. We can get another land out. We can support 2, but I don't think we want to do that yet. I think we want a free Strider. We get to add a counter. Wait, we don't have fucking green to play that free Strider Lookout because Gyre Sage has no counters on it to begin. So we can play Fog Bank, which in fact does not trigger Gyre Sage. We can kill something. We can Scrawling Crawler. Now we get a counter on Gyre Sage. Now we have access to green. Oh, true. We couldn't even play Sage. Yeah, let's just restart this one. So that would have had to be a mulligan then. Okay, mana fixed. Amazing. Our mana's fixed, therefore we're going to win. We play a tap land. We play a tap land. We play Scrawling Crawler. We're giving everybody cards. They love us now. Nobody's going to hurt us because they're our best friend and they love us. We played this. We probably put a +1/+1 counter on our Cleopatra and then another counter on one of somebody else's cards. We get to draw an additional card for Scrawling Crawler. What's Replication Technique do? We can token copy permanents we control. None of which are that good. We could play Volrath. So I guess like we play Volrath and we ask the table, hey, where do you want us to put this damage? Oh, it includes lands. Okay, so we can ramp with it. We could copy Crawler with this. Yeah, we could copy Crawler, get 2 copies of Crawler. Wow, they lose 3 life per card they draw. And wow, they draw 4 cards every turn rotation. And we lose the game basically immediately. So we have Volrath out. We put a +1/+1 counter on him. Cleopatra puts another one on herself and another one on someone else's commander. Go fuck yourself. We play the Soul Ring because we have it. We bounty board. And then we bounty counter somebody. We put a -1/-1 counter somewhere. And we play this. So we get to we're handing out a ton of counters and we're handing out a little bit of cards. So we have Illusionist Gambit to hold up if anybody else gets stompy. The best thing going for us is just that we have a huge guy. Like I think the best thing we've done in 7 turns is have 1/7/5 standing in front of our life total. So fuck it, we'll replicate Scrawling Crawler because we need cards really badly. So we have 3 Scrawling Crawlers now. We go to our next turn. Everybody draws 3 cards. Fuck it, gimme back Replication Technique. We help somebody else. We can put a bounty counter on the board. Maybe we've drawn extra cards because of Cleopatra's trigger and because of the bounty board trigger. I'm not even dumping you to hand size because I think you need the help. Turn 9. Now we have Silent Hall Creeper. So we have to play this. We can't put the -1/-1 counter on this yet. We have to wait until it's dealt combat damage to become a 3/3 so Volrath's counter doesn't kill it, or we have to at least wait till our next upkeep so that Evolutionary Escalation can do it. Oh yeah, we could get it from Innkeepers. So we get it from Innkeepers. Oh, well then we still have to wait another turn because oh no, we can make Volrath unblockable starting turn 9. At this point, so for turn 9, Volrath is unblockable. We have had 2 pieces. We have 1 piece of hard removal, 1 piece of soft removal, and then 1 counter spell, which I'll call kind of in the middle because pay 4 is pretty steep. It's pretty likely that we will be able to stop them from paying 4. And to achieve that, we have given out, I think, 9 1/1 counters from evolutionary escalation. We've had them since turn 4, so we've given out up to 10. Oh, we can't even target Cleopatra. So up to 10 counters from Cleopatra. So that's 19. And we've let the table as a whole draw like 20 additional cards. This may be one of the rare cases, Eris, where we downgrade you. I don't think this qualifies as spooky. I think that best case scenario, this qualifies as silly, but we'll give you one more playtest to see if it does any better. Okay, maybe this one will make it. Oh, we don't even have green, because we insist on a bunch of goddamn colorless lands in our 3-color deck, because we don't want to proxy a mana base. So what's stopping this deck from being spooky is your goddamn budget mana base. And it's not, again, I don't think it's making it weaker in an interesting way. I just think it's making it like, fuck, I can't cast spells. Fuck, my deck can't do what it's supposed to do because I have to keep mulliganing. Hey, look at this. Look at this. We have a land, now we can play Magic. Imagine. Imagine. So now we have Polywog Prodigy. This has Evolve. Turn 3. And now we can get Volrath out, but is it even necessary to get Volrath out? Like, I think we could get Volrath out, but it wouldn't do anything. So we're going to evolve this. We're going to hope that we've drawn at least one card off of Polywog Prodigy. We play Volrath just to trigger Polywog Prodigy again. Hope that we get another thing that matters. We flood. We cope. We seethe. I guess we move a counter. We move a counter from Spikeweaver to Polywog. And that way we can make Volrath a copy of Polywog, and maybe we draw one more, maybe 2 more cards if I'm being very generous. Wow, God does not like you. So turn 7. Sorry if the argument is in too bad of faith. How are generically good lands different from other generic value engines? It's the degree to which they make value. There are certainly some lands like Gaia's Cradle, which are comparable to other generically good value engines, but I don't think anybody could say with a straight face that. Let's even go away from a land. I don't think anybody could say with a straight face that having your colors fixed for 90% of decks is as powerful as Rhystic Study. So that's what I'm saying. There's some edge cases like this where the mana base has been built so poorly that it is crippling our ability to play Magic at all, because we have so much colorless mana production on a deck that has so many pips it wants to accrue. But a lot of it is like, what was the, like, there was one card spoiled where I was like, oh, this is good. This is a good engine that decks can run that is not going to be overbearing. And it was like a 1 black mana artifact that said spend 3 mana and 2 life to draw 1 card. Like, that is a generically good value engine, but it's not so powerful that it's going to immediately take over the game. The things that I rail against, the Last Ride. The things that I generally rail against are value engines where they are so powerful that they are going to near immediately take over the game if they're not answered. In the sense of they'll draw you so many cards or create you so many resources that you no longer have to play tactically. You just have to kind of chuck cards at everybody. Um, so I'll give you this, Eris. I like the energy that you're going with, but the way you're going about group hugging is too genuinely helpful. Group hug decks that really want to win typically want to win by being sneaky. Like, they want to be the best group hug player in the history of the world is Aizen Sosuke from Bleach. He is the world's greatest group hug commander player. And what you are doing is Urahara Kisuke coded. Where, yeah, maybe if you wanted to, you can try to turn on everybody, but you're spending way too much time just legitimately helping everyone. So many cards in this deck, all they do is legitimately pump up the fucking jams for everybody else at your table. And I struggle to believe that you can reliably claw back a win to the degree that I would call that win deliberate. Especially because most of the things you want to copy to make Volrath unblockable are 1/1s. And so you can't use Volrath's -1/-1 counter to copy them because they will just fucking die. So it means that you've set up another hurdle for yourself where you have to make everybody else really strong, and then you have no way to turn that advantage off. We don't have anything that is going to undo all the 1/1 counters we've given away. Our board wipes are soft board wipes, and so it's going to be harder than normal to use them to kill off all of the big creatures we've sort of created for ourselves. And our outs are really difficult. Like, this is just a humiliation fetish deck. I was considering putting Zamon's Hypothesis in it. No, this is way too... If you are not Rain Man, you are going to have to be doing way too much math to try to line this card up, especially for 5 mana. If you want to be doing... if you want to be doing 18 different probability permutations at the same time every game of Commander that you play, that's fine. But if you don't want to be doing that, or if you want to be doing literally anything else, I would not be on this. Aether Snap, much more reasonable. See, Aether Snap is just like, hey, you remember all that help I gave you? Gone now. What's up? I have a 7/5. What's happening? How we doing? It's tough because it non-bows yourself a little bit because you're trying to drive all of your advantage just with +1/+1 counters. And if your only response to that is I'm going to get rid of every +1/+1 counter, that kind of sucks. MLP, it is paying a ton of mana to undo everything you did so far, but the point we're trying to work off of right now is for this to be an effective group hug deck that wants to do anything but play for second, we have to be able to undo what we did. Like the gatekeeping section of Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss in the Gaslight Gatekeep group hug archetype, the gatekeeping section does not really exist. We have a few particularly tricky cards. I swear I saw one. Like Reigns of Power is a pretty tricky card. But the rest of it is just we help people so much and so genuinely. We are not plotting anybody's downfall. We are like acting as everyone else's personal assistants, and then we're just hoping that in the 18 cards we gave away, nobody keeps removal for Volrath. Because we also don't have Volrath protection. When we have, and having, right, I think maybe we have like one piece of protection, but having practically no protection for a 7/5 commander is arrogant at best. At worst, this is straight up Icarus behavior. Oh, protection in the Dorito dust tag. Okay, not protection. Not protection. Not protection. One piece. Not protection. Or, well, okay, two pieces, that is. Three pieces. So you have 3 pieces of protection, and then you have 5 pieces of Wattpad fanfic that end up with Volrath being protected. And so I think we're trying too hard to make this fair. Are you counting Volrath turning into the hexproof stuff? No, because I play actual Magic, and I do not play my Magic in a Google Word document where I write my Sonic the Hedgehog fanfic. Like, I think these are... You would do very well to separate this protection section into this card protects Volrath by itself, and this card protects Volrath if I have another thing that has given this card a counter, so that Volrath can copy it. Like things that protect Volrath alone, and things that only protect Volrath if we have another third card that is making them able to protect Volrath. And then there's cards like Cathedral Acolyte, where it's technically protection, but Ward 1 really doesn't matter. There's cards like Elusive Tormentor, where we need to have played this, we need to have discarded it, so we're already on 5 mana, and then it's hexproof and indestructible, but it's a 0/1. So Volrath can't ever put his counter on this, which means for Volrath to copy this, we need to have had something else on our board give this a +1/+1 counter so that we can then have Volrath copy it. Like if we play just Elusive Tormentor and our commander, Elusive Tormentor does not protect us. If we play even just Inspiring Call and our commander, does not protect us. If we've played just Persistent Constrictor, like if we have our commander on board and we play Persistent Constrictor, does not protect us. Same goes for Sylvan Caryatid. Same goes for Vash Generata. Like we need to have gotten +1/+1 counters on them otherwise. And you do have a pretty high concentration of ways to get +1/+1 counters on things. So I'm not saying it's unlikely that you're going to get +1/+1 counters on them, but I'm saying if your entire game plan relies on Volrath being able to swing, having almost all of your protection locked up in things that require us to already be winning is deeply irresponsible. No, Stormblast, Volrath can copy anything that has a counter. So it still works as long as we've given +1/+1 counters out with our other stuff. We're just a little bit lost in the sauce of Kurt, the point is that if it has a +1/+1 counter on it, Volrath doesn't need to give it a -1/-1 counter. He can just copy it if Volrath. Oh, what did I do? Volrath can just copy it if they get a +1/+1 counter on. I'm sure that I mangled the words at some point in the middle there, which is what made it confusing. But the upshot is that if you play these cards, Volrath can't use his ability on like half of them because they have 1 toughness. And if Volrath puts, and if something else, so something else has to put a +1/+1 counter on. Why are you frothing, DMC? Oh, Simic Manipulator and Cytoplast Manipulator. See, this, okay, this is heat. This is good. This is how we gatekeep. Yes. Yes. This is how we group hug with 1/1 counters. And I'm going to throw Willbreaker in here too. But I think these are the cards that might upgrade you into spooky territory. Because right now your grand evil plan is to just hand everybody else at the commander table a cool $500. Which it doesn't fucking do anything. And I think you're already doing enough to keep it fair by saying my win con is, first of all, doing group hug outside of Bant. Real as hell of you to do group hug without including Bant in the mix. But if you're saying I'm going to Voltron this 7/5, that's already, like, Voltron already sucks. We don't need to handicap Voltron by saying it's Voltron and it's also going to give the rest of the table an over the pants handy. Experiment Crash. I think this is just too expensive. Like, the effect is good, but this card needed to be printed. See, if this card got reprinted today, it would be 3 mana and would do all of the same stuff. But having a little bit more, especially in Sultai, having a little bit more direct theft is going to be a lot better for you, because Group Hug needs a way to flip the script. Group Hug has to have a way to judo flip the table, and if you can't execute a judo flip, all that's going to happen is all of that advantage you spent the early game giving away is going to make you lose the game. People, now, I will say, people can like playing against those decks because people, by and large, really, really like neck rubs. They're fun. They're enjoyable. But this is a deck that is just like this deck right now is the friend that gives out neck rubs and goes home at night to dream about the vengeance he will one day take on everybody for excluding him from kickball, but it never actually does anything about it. Is there some way to go to the buffed creatures? I mean, let's look. If there's anything that influences what creatures with counters do. Yeah, Sultai doesn't really get goad, but I'm not thinking that they're going to get goad. I'm thinking that we might be able to find some better type of effect that can influence what our opponent's creatures are doing. No, 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 no. This isn't even 1/1 counters, but this would just be like good. This is back to the I'm lying implicitly, where you can tell everyone with a straight face, my deck is about putting counters on your things. And then you hit them with the dog shit. Hold on. Put it in the deck. Put it in the goddamn deck. This is you've added 20% to your win condition. If you put this in the deck, we put a 1.2x multiplier on the likelihood that we're actually able to win a game of Commander. Holy fuck, we solved it. Absolutely, we solved it. Now Volrath, this is just, now we have like a fifth card that cares about the counter shit. Yes. Renegade Silent. That just puts a counter on Renegade Silent though. Like this really isn't. This is only. Nah, this is like Chat GPT relation to the group hug game plan we're trying to do. Oh, is that literally the end? Oh my god. Oh, hold on. Just listen to me. I realize it kind of, it's just, this is just not as bad of a non-bow. This is just simply not as bad of a non-bow as some of the other stuff is. Could be funny. If you really want to stay on giving out as many counters as possible, could be funny. But I would highly recommend that you Hawk Twa them. If you do not begin spitting on that thing, I am going to freak out. Because if we want Volrath Unblockable to be the win condition, this is 100% of what you want. This is 100%, hey, do you remember all that advantage I gave you? It no longer means anything. How about you get shit on? And it also allows you to continue playing like politics with, hey, what do we think? Who do we think the problem is right now? I'll put a little spit on them. Midnight Banshee. No, this is too aggro. This is a level of switching up on them. If you go mask off with Midnight Banshee, they're just not going to trust you. You need things where you can still politic your way around how aggressive they are. Like Midnight Banshee, we may as well just put in fucking Toxrill. Okay, Dismiss into Dreams is not a card. Yeah, this would also be really strong for you. It would be kind of tough because it works pretty well with the commander, and I don't think works well with literally anything else. It's also kind of mask off, because it's not a May, and so we do have to blow up something with a -1/-1 counter every single time. And group hug decks really, really want to play with May abilities. They really want to play with things where they can argue that they're holding it back for the sake of an alliance, or for the sake of, like, you know, waiting for their moment. Crumbling Ashes seems like a more straight up Volrath thing, where the Volrath deck is not doing group hug. The Volrath is just trying to blow up everything in sight and then win on account of being a 7/5. Oh, I like this. I like this a lot. This would actually be very good because this is 7 mana. This is the switch flipping. 7 mana, all of your group hug now becomes removal. Which, if everything is dead, Volrath is unblockable. I think this goes along with the Spitting Dilphosaurus and the 2 other things we mentioned earlier for perfect ways to judo flip your table after you have spent like 5 turns building them up. Dismiss into Dream is like, it's so much mana that at the point you're spending this much mana, you have to be done helping people. If you are tapping 7 mana to continue helping your enemies, you're no longer playing the long game, you are just punting. And so I think we have a couple really good judo flips. I like the energy. I like that you've managed to execute it somewhat. I think right now this is... I think you're in greedy soap opera right now, Eris. I think you have a narrative arc that is correct, but I think you've got to be more of a manipulator in life. So I would recommend watching Gossip Girl. I would recommend watching at least one episode of like Mindhunter. I would watch a lot of dramas where people lie a lot, because you just need to be like, you need to have people when you walk into the LGS go, oh, you cannot trust her. As soon as she sits down in a commander, like, you need to be the player where you sit down, you're like, I brought my group hug deck, and somebody goes, nope, get her, fuck her. That is going to be your badge of honor. Is you have to lean out of legitimately helping people so much, and you have to lean into trickery. And so I think make those like 4 or 5 shifts. Those 4 or 5 shifts, and then you have... oh, phrasing. Oh, come on. CG Death, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. I appreciate that generosity, and I will keep the memes coming. We are also back into the pre-roll era, so we are going to move on to Shade Jones's deck after we do another manual ad break. Grumpy Dragoon, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub for the 5th month in a row. Get her, fuck her, and an LGS is dangerous. I was clearly being non-sexual. But Eris time, I think the energy of the deck is good. I think the execution is a little bit lacking, but I do think it can get there. Shot over 4, thank you for the prime sub, my friend. Welcome to the dog home. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. And starting that hype train, we're going to do one manual ad break, and then we're going to get into Shade Jones's deck. So everyone, I will be right back. Whoever said Maha in YouTube chat, do better. Do better. Okay. Chef, thank you for the 100-bit cheer, my friend. Welcome to Dog Heaven. A spiritual obligation to continue the hype train. I appreciate you. We've gotten it to level 2. We have a random smasher pass from Geode. Then we're going to move on. I don't know why I brought in a new tab. I can just hit random here. Ooh. No. No, of course not. The fact, I knew some of you were going to be like, yeah, we're going to say yes. No, be better. Coward. I swear to God. Not big enough for the exhibitionist rule. True. It's not, it's not scary enough for the exhibitionist rule. Scalies in shambles. Ha, 420 weed number. Thank you for the prime sub for the 2nd month, my friend. Welcome back to the dog home. I appreciate that generosity. I'm going to drink some water for our girthy Poro friend. Next up. Oh. What do you think about a strat that involves putting stun counters on creatures, then using various and sundry tools to remove those stun counters as a form of political leverage at the table? Alec, man, my thoughts on that strat are, and I'm going to get more general than that strat specifically, any strat that wants to have a back and forth that it is in control of is oftentimes going to fail. The cards that put stuff onto things or the cards that do proactive things are oftentimes different cards from the cards that do negative things or take stuff away. And so if you want your deck to do both, what that says to me is I need to draw more cards and play more spells than all of my opponents in order to have any chance of having this game plan actually go through. So if you're saying I want to both put stun counters on and I want to take stun counters off, and I want to do that quickly enough that I'm going to have agency over the whole process, I think it's a really neat idea. I think you are now... I like decks like that too, is what I want to say. I like decks like that, which is why I think about it so much. But if you want a deck that is going to do something and take it back, and the hokey pokey is going to be the play pattern, you need to have like infinite mana and draw 2 cards a turn, or you just lose to precons. Also, Blue Softy, we got a ton of help. Blue Softy, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. I appreciate your generosity. And Shot Over, thank you for the 1,000-bit cheer, getting us to the next level of that hype train. I appreciate you both very much. Welcome to Dog Heaven. Weird Magic question, but I know this community would know the answer. If you use something like Control Magic, then give control to the opponent, do they get the creature? If you are talking about, so Philip, if you are talking about something like Bolas's Grasp, I'm believing, sure, Entre las grifes de Bolas. If you are like, this is an enchantment, this gives me control of your thing, if you then use a different card to give control of the enchantment to another player, yes, that would give the creature over with it. Night Class, thank you for the prime sub as well. I appreciate those Jeffrey dollars. Welcome to the dog home. All right, time for Shade Jones's deck, Silly, Spooky. On a whim, I dug through my collection to make the most dishonest weenie Golgari deck I could. Removal, protection, what's that? I'm going to touch cards and kill you or die trying. Dishonest Rutstein, an exercise in non-deterministic dishonesty. So Honest Rutstein on ETB, I get something back from my trash can. Creature spells cost 1 less to cast. I love somebody who will just shoot their own foot off turn 0. This commander is terrible. I don't know what you're going to do with them. I know it's going to suck. 32 lands. Okay. Free mana neutral. Oh, Lord, that's what we're doing. May as well kill something. 2 pieces of artifact and enchantment removal. That is exactly as responsible as I expect a green player to be. We don't even use the ETB. We're playing... We're in Golgari. And our pinnacle gameplay moment is my creatures cost 1 less to cast. I've got your next commander, Shade. I've got your next commander for you right here. I think you're really going to like it. And then after that, I've got a new hot green commander that I think you're really going to enjoy. Oh, true. We found Shade's Spirit Commander. This is what we got to put you on. We got to put you on Dome, brother. Or sister. I don't know your pronoun, Shade, but we got to put you on Dome right now. Teddy Bear, thank you for the 200-bit cheer. Nope, I live here now, and we're very happy to have you. I'm a Gruul Mage. This is me pulling shenanigans. Okay, cantrip. Fuck you. So we have 3 cantrip creatures. We have additional discounts, which we might accidentally win a game of Commander just off of Defiler of Vigor. Sure. Drain, for I have no idea why. Definitely a Gruul player's idea of what a Golgari deck is. Oh, you are a Gruul player. You want to know how we can tell now? Every green card is at least somewhat good, and every black card just sounds like a black card that you heard a Golgari player talk about once. Like, let's count up our green cards. We've got Mana Dorks, Galagreeters, Ramp, Defiler of Vigor, Beast Whisperer card draw, Guardian Project card draw, Life Gain. For some reason, none of these even go in the same mono green deck, but they're good green cards. Green card draw. Then what are our black cards? I don't know. I saw this in the arena precon once. Sure, Blood Artist wins games. That's how Golgari wins. This is like... Your deck is two-face, but instead of one half of your face being burnt off, one half of your face is just drooling. Is just a drooling idiot, and the other half is a normal green deck. Stay alive. What? Stay alive? We're gonna fucking... What? Do you have a token player at your table? If you have a Selesnya token player at your table, I will abide this. In every other situation, I will not. One half is a grueling idiot. Yeah, it's stroke victim Harvey Dent. Alright, we're just gonna see how this plays. Beastmaster Ascension. Yeah, once again, green wins games, huh? Okay, no black mana. Honestly, we don't need black mana because this is not a black deck. This is a green deck that has a little bit of black mold on it. Fuck, we got a swamp anyway. We play our commander. We can play this guy. So we play this, draw a card. We still have to tap 1. We play this, draw 2 cards, gain 1 life. We play this for free, draw a card, gain 1 life. We play our land drop. I should have played this earlier, but I'm an idiot. We play this, draw a card, gain 1 life. You know, I talk about green decks doing value vomit a lot. This is definitely the type of vomit that's going to make a doctor sit you down and ask you what the fuck is in your diet. Okay. We tap a forest. We play this for 1, but we float a green mana, draw a card, gain 1 life. This is not a creature spell and is therefore unimportant to our game plan. We tap a black mana, play this, float 1 green mana, draw 1 card, gain 1 life. We use our 1 green mana and 1 black mana, Grim Harvespex, float 1 green mana, draw 1 card, gain 1 life. Use all our green mana, float 1 green mana, draw a card, gain 1 life. Play a swamp. Tap out for Vindictive Vampire, float 1 mana, draw a card, gain 1 life. It's happening! This is quite possibly the worst Storm deck I have ever seen. But I can almost see the vision. I can almost see the vision. What do you do when you get pyroclasmed? See, Blue Softy, I don't think you noticed that we're playing green, so nothing bad ever happens to us. Every green deck lives its life like no consequences will ever come for it. John, yes, they are only using this commander as a Helm of Awakening. So as best I can tell, the game plan of the deck is, do we have mana for this? We have 8 mana. 4, 5. We don't even have fucking mana for this. So as best I can tell, the plan is to do something like God Eternal Bantu plus Thrilling Encore and mass sack our board, mass bring it back, and draw so many cards that we hit one of those overrun effects. I think that's roughly the vision of it. I think that would give me a stroke if that happened to me in real life. What did we rate this as? Silly Spooky? I think you're dead on. I think this is... I'm not sure. It's not chaotic. I think we're greedy. I think we're greedy soap opera. I think this is a dumb... Actually, no. Really, this is chaotic stupid. Really, this is chaotic stupid. Which doesn't fit in the current matrix. I think there's a couple things that don't work about it. Oh, this also isn't a creature. I think the thing that doesn't work about it, which makes sense, is that you are a Gruul player and you have no conception of how to make a Storm turn actually work. But this is Golgari's Storm. Whether you want to admit it or not, this is not Gruul player plays silly Golgari deck. You are playing an Izzet deck. See, the thing is, Chef, it's like, it's half-tuned. Again, it's Stroke Victim Harvey Dent. Half of it is pretty tuned. I think the green stuff is what's tuning it because they're a Gruul player and they at least know how to tune the green side of things. I think that the sacrifice stuff is distracting you. I think you're doing the sacrifice stuff because you think I'm in black, therefore I do sacrifice things. I think the black stuff you want to have in this deck is things that will help you recover from a board wipe. And so if you're going to have generically good cards, it should be like Rise of the Dark Realms. The black cards that you keep in this deck, where was that one instant? Thrilling Encore. This was cinema, and what made it unusable was the fact that the only way we had to turn it on was God Eternal Bantu. Did you not see non-deterministic shenanigans? See, that's the problem, Shade, is they are deterministic, and they are deterministically bad. Like, you have, this is like the type of athlete that will subtly sabotage themselves because they're so afraid of what they could be. You could have a truly good storm deck, but you've put in enough self-sabotage to prevent it from being at all reliable, which is holding you back in a massive way. So you do want cards like Thrilling Encore, but I do not think you want to be self-sacking your board, and I do not think you want to be draining your board. You can still do a Flub's turn, and I agree with Ontario that a Flub's turn is spiritually what you're going for here. I just don't agree. I just think if you're going for overrun, it's going to be better to actually storm into your overrun rather than I'm going to try to play a bunch of stuff and sack all my stuff and bring it all back and then make it overrun. And oh god, oh fuck, that's not going to work because it costs $1,500 and most of my ramp is a 1 mana discount on creatures. The Baldo Man, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. You can only hydrate me so much in one stream, Baron. So Mir adds one. Again, like, very clever. Very cute. Then we Signet. Then we this. Then we can Zulaport. Shamanic Revelation. I think the glue eating took over. The glue eating for sure took over. Absolutely not will I walk through the Four Horsemen. It's been pretty consistent turn 5, 6, storm into Drainwind when I've played. I love the internet, you guys, because you can just lie. You can just come on the internet and type things. And type fake shit that didn't happen. Me when I misremember my own life. Reliable turn 5, 6 Drainwind? Okay. 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 Turn 5. Can you please show me the Drainwind? Can you please show me, is the Drainwind in the room with us right now? Turn 6, we're here. We've won. We did win the game here. Okay, excellent. Oh, we can draw 4. We'll draw 4. I'll sack this for all the remaining mana. Or it only would have been 3. Would you like to show me the Drainwind? Obviously, that one's my fault. Two life. Okay, turn 5. Please show me the Drainwind. Yes, Shade, if the Drainwind exists on board in that scenario, which I truly believe it does not, go ahead and tell me. If you're like, oh, the drain win is you draw, like if part of the drain win is, oh, just draw blank, that's the point. Is like, yes, I believe any deck can win if it gets to Yu-Gi-Moto Destiny draw. This does not scream to me reliable, finely tuned turn 5 win. Mango, I don't really have one, but everyone say hello to our YouTube editor, Triple Mango Threat. They are the ones behind a lot of the videos you have been seeing recently. So we can get rid of this guy. Right, we can get a land. Does this get tapped? I have no idea because the Moxfield playtester, it is tapped. It's not supposed to be. That's what my experience has been. That said, yes, I could make it much better. To do so would be to push it too far past the power level of my table. I disagree with you creatively, but I will accept this. Because that is a relatively common sentiment that I don't really like, that is like, this is a deck that should be good, but I have purposefully crippled it in order to make it acceptable for my playgroup. I am typically of the mindset that you're better off going the opposite direction of, this is a dumb thing that shouldn't work, and I have given it the tools to try to compete, but ultimately the premise is foolhardy, rather than this is a very good thing and I have stuffed some awkwardly expensive cards into the curve to fuck up my ability to win, which is what this deck is. Like, you show me, hey, this is my Golgari Storm deck with like White of the Reliquary, Warren Soul Trader, and Honest Rutstein. Is those 3 cards, I'm like, that deck is fucking hot. And then you go like, oh, and by the way, I'm also playing Soul of the Harvest, and I'm like, oh, so you're playing just whatever. Creeping Resistance really makes me feel like you almost have a plan. But also the returning to hand is crazy. I also don't buy new cards for these. These are all from my collection. Number 1 sentences said by the mentally deranged. Top 1 sentence said by the insane who are crippling their own enjoyment for no reason is, I built this just for my collection. I won't even print off proxies for this. If you're doing it like, this is what I could cobble together from my collection, then like, damn, it's cool that you pulled a Warren Soul Trader and a White of the Reliquary. And that is the extent of the commentary we can make about the deck. Damn, you pulled Beastmaster Ascension? That's fucking dope. That's fucking dope. I like the jank I come up with from my collection. R9, I'm never saying you shouldn't like it. I think if you ever build a deck, you probably like it. If you don't enjoy the deck, then it probably wouldn't exist in the first place. But when you're submitting a deck for me to assess, whether that is from a strategic standpoint or just from a meme standpoint, if the deck is built on, I just had this stuff laying around, really what we're doing is like, hey, can you roast a picture of my bedroom? I don't know, man. Yeah, you pulled some shiny cardboard. That's fucking dope for you. This card's bad, but I guess if we're limiting ourselves to shit I found in the center console of my car, Yeah, reasonable. It severely limits the amount, like the point of this is I'm often trying to work backwards to assess, okay, what is the personality and what is wrong with somebody who would build a deck like this? And a necessary assumption for that to be a useful exercise is for me to assume that you had control over what we put into the deck list. And so if it's a deck that you don't actually have control over because you were like, this is some random shit I found, the answer is always, damn, does this shit not work? Damn, did we shove a metal rod in the spokes of our own bicycle? Who could have predicted? Who could have predicted that leaving the strategy of our deck up to sheer random chance would mean sometimes we get to do the Beast Whisperer Storm turn, and sometimes we just hang the holy fuck out and hope for the best? Because there's a lot of things that begin to signal that there was a plan here and there was a mindset here. Like all the one mana creatures, all the things that begin to play into the storm combo, I'm beginning to see a personality form from the deck. I don't really like that personality, but I can at least witness it and appreciate it. And then you just go, well, I had him. Actually, not even for Defiler of Vigor, because that one's clever. The pip reduction is clever in the Storm game plan. But I feel like we fell ass backwards into like half the strategy of this deck. So I'm going to say I think we'll have to alter the EDH rec because I think the closest category that can cover this is chaotic EDH rec, and I don't feel like the implication of EDH rec is a fair assessment. But the reason I want to put it in chaotic EDH rec is you picked a mechanic that you just wanted to generically execute, and then it got fucked up a little bit because you limited yourself to whatever you had pulled out of your local bulk box. So you had a straight up and down strategy that then got corrupted by the fact of, okay, we have to make this out of exclusively things that I have in my sock drawer. I don't think we need bipolar. I think chaotic captures the energy of what we're doing here. But I think there's like, for now, I'm just going to put mechanic in. Because you were not trying to tell a story with Dishonest Rutstein other than the story being, holy fuck, let me out of this game. I really, really want to play my Gruul deck again. You were trying to build around the mechanic of Honest Rutstein. And you built around it chaotically, again, because you really, really handcuffed yourself to the radiator by being like, I don't know, man, what the fuck? This deck should be unsleeved, because eventually that means it will break down into dust where it belongs. I am more than happy to have this deck be unsleeved. Can you even make Storm silly without making it inconsistent? No, and that's the thing. Storm as a mechanic doesn't really get to exist as silly because when you make Storm silly, it ends up like this, where 50% of the time nothing happens, and 50% of the time I win turn 5, which is oftentimes. Now, a good pilot can save any deck. I want to be really clear about that. No matter how heinous your deck looks in the playtest, no matter how derelict and devoid of love and passion or whatever I say it is in this stream, if you are a funny person, you can make any deck play well. If you are amiable and you have a good sense of humor and you know how to take it well when people target you, you can bring whatever bullshit you want and you're still going to be able to play a fun game of Commander. Yeah, Elk. I'm pretty sure. I think this is another thing in the annals of shit Snail has made a video about, which is Storm decks and a lot of combo decks in general only seem silly in the design phase. Combo decks never play silly. It's impossible for them to play silly. Nobody's laughing. Nobody is clapping when you do your funny Rube Goldberg combo machine. It doesn't matter how many steps it takes. It doesn't matter how many pieces of the infinite there are. It doesn't matter how interactable it is. The headline of every combo deck forever is you play the thing and people go, oh, so you win now? And then they shuffle up and play again. This was previously covered by the true intellectual portion of the personality matrix, where deck is very satisfying to build. It makes you feel like a very clever little girl for deducing what the combo would be and how you could build a synergy section that would support it well, but they're almost never satisfying to play. Chef, thank you for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs, my friend. Welcome to Dog Heaven. And so it's really just like all those combo decks, you need to appreciate that they're being played at higher power tables. It's not that you can't play them. You just can't be like, oh, this is appropriate to play with the precon because sometimes it bricks. It just means that sometimes you do nothing and sometimes the precon's not able to do anything against you, both of which are very unfun conclusions. All right, we're going to move on to Wermot's deck, which they emailed a late change. An unfortunately prescient change, given what we were just talking about. Wermot here, I'd like to put forward this deck me and a friend have been cooking this past week. It is an amalgamation of his obsession with combo decks and my obsession with dinosaurs, but merged into the perfect Naya Storm Rocco deck. Earliest wins turn 4 with the correct hand. Normally has to wait till turn 6 to 8. Multiple different ways to win, depending on what flavor of Dino Taint you prefer. Okay. Before I even go back to the chat compiler, let's start placing our bets on 1. Is Pentlaza in the deck? Turn 4 definitely makes me think Pentlaza's in this fuck-ass deck list. The fact that it's Rocco instead of Pentlaza Commander makes me feel like there are other combo outs for it, but I'm definitely thinking tuned mechanic over here. Somebody learned they're not actually. Ooh, okay. Let's give you a chance then. Okay. Evil Sicko Mode. Naya Storm creature fuck that I cooked up with my friend. I like dinosaurs, he liked combos, so we made the best Naya Storm deck ever after we took hits off .penji. So hit assurance. I have no idea what makes this hit assurance. So we do Rocco Cabaret Caterer. We have 35 lands. Protection from racists. tutors for rock and shit. So we're looking for... So we have Storm. Oh, main combo pieces. Team Your Sabretooth already makes my fucking head hurt. Is it just me when Team Your Sabretooth and Zakama draws my deck and then I win? I hate you. I hate you so much. I can't. You ducked the Pantlaza allegations to instead put in the most common green combo piece in the entire world. So it just plays a comma for 3 mana because of Prowl and then untap everything forever. This is immediately never make it out of the goddamn Mox field. There's others too. I don't give a fuck about your other ones. I hate combos and I hate dinosaurs. You are trying to play show and tell with the wrong motherfucker. I do like that though. Storm Theft. Yeah, wait, why is this 4K? We have Wheel of Fortune. Wait, Zakama Sanctum is a combo already? What the fuck does Zakama Sanctum do? This is expanding my brain in ways that I really don't want it to be expanded. I want to say, first of all, I already have enough forehead that I don't need to learn whatever these fuck-ass dinosaur combos are. What did we rate this? I don't even know if this is spooky. I feel like this is... I feel like this is bad scary. We play Summoner's Pact. We pass. We lose the game. Deck's bad. Deck's bad. Why would you build a deck this bad? What's wrong with you? Fool. Fool. You absolute goober. So we do this, we ramp. So we can Rocco for 1, but I think most of our Rocco for 1 targets would just be like Birds of Paradise. We could Roaming Throne. We could name, I don't know, Elves. That way we get to double tutor. Okay, miss our land drop. It's always Rocco for 3. Why are we... What? Why are we playing Rocco for 3, though? Do we have... What's the 0 mana creature? Oh, X equals 3. Okay, that makes more sense. When you said Rocco for 3, I thought you meant for 3 mana total, which would have meant X equals 0. Yeah. Okay, so turn 4, we do nothing. Turn 5, we do nothing. I'm going to play the backside of this so that we can at least start exiling stuff to try to get a land. Hey, look, we got a mountain. Fauna Shaman's gone forever. That's crazy. Rocco for 3. We get the Prowl dinosaur. Oh, and we get another thing too. So we get Hunting Velociraptor. We also get another 3-mana creature. It goes to play. We're in green. Fuck. We get one more 3-mana creature because we have the Roaming Throne trigger on Rocco. We could get Topiary Stomper, but that feels like such a fucking waste. Oh, Fierce Empath, right? And then we get Zakama to hand. And then turn 7, if I get a hit, we win. Oh wait, we don't have Temur Sabertooth yet. So, oh yeah, double elf trigger, so we can get another massive honker. But I don't think any of the other massive honkers matter because it has to be 6 or greater. Sure, Annoyed Altasar, just in case. And then we probably Farseek because turn 7, there's almost no way we have good hits. We get a land. Okay, Taiga. Beautiful. Next turn. Oh, good. We have this guy. Once you have Temur Sabertooth, Garruk's Uprising, and Zakama, it goes. I'm well aware. I'm looking, brother. I am looking for these motherfucking cards. We can do Altasaur. Let's hit Temur Sabertooth right now. Nope. Stone Coil for 0. That'll go straight to the graveyard. Dump Forerunner. A Sacred Foundry. We love it. I'm going to discard that to exile 2. More lands. We love it. Now we can play Zakama, right? But we have no Temur Sabertooth. We don't have a way... I guess... So I guess the better play we could have made, that we should have made on like turn 7 and 8, is we should have just started swinging Rocco recklessly and forced the table to make the choice of either you're going to give me the Prowl cost for Zakama or you're going to let me put Rocco back into the command zone so that I can tutor for Temur Sabertooth. Overall, I wish to weep for this deck. This is exactly the problem we talked about with the previous deck, which is because you're on combo, I, as a morally upstanding Izzet player, conceivably should not be allowing you to cook. If you're on a combo that can win the game, I shouldn't be allowing you to do shit, because if I let you do shit, it's going to be at the cost of my own life. However, if I stop this deck from doing anything, it very much makes me feel like I'm kicking a coughing baby in the chest. So we can get... Okay, we can get a creature with Archdruids, but we don't have 3 green pips, and we don't have a mana dork. But hey, we deal double combat, non-combat damage. That's very dope. Summoner's Pact. So we need Temur saved. We have the Velociraptor. We still need Zakama. And we still need Temur Sabertooth. I think Zakama's more important because if we don't get Zakama, nothing works. Next turn, we tap everything but this. We play that. We could Rocco for 3, but Roccoing for 3 doesn't matter. I need some... So far, this definitely feels like a deck that has confused something that is technically possible for a thing that is worth doing. Because we're turn 7. We're turn 7. All we've done is play Sulfin. I'm going to do one more restart. I'm going to mulligan like I would in real life. And I'm going to try to play to the best of my ability. I think I mulligan this because the best thing I can do is try to get to a quick Rocco, but a quick Rocco doesn't do anything for me. MLP Cassiopeia. So I have Mana Echoes, which holy fuck, that doesn't matter. What does Academy Rector do? So if somebody kills it, I get to get... So I could get Garooks if it dies. I don't think that I can take this either. Good. Ragavan with no red. Bronze 6... We're keeping 6 here. I think I'm going to move City on Fire to bottom, and I have to just bet the game on drawing a mountain. Does God love us? No. Turn 2. Excellent. Turn 3. Even better. Turn 4. Wonderful. There we go. Turn 6. Ragavan. Maybe that pen was just not speaking right to us. I mean, did you ever watch that 70s show? And there was one episode where they specifically did the bit of, wow, we all have such great ideas when we're high. We should record them on a tape recorder and then watch them back. And they listen back to it, and it's just them mumbling about Cheetos for 8 hours. I do think this is that combo. I think the line is kind of cute, but I think this is the natural consequence of decks that are built around individual combo lines. Anytime you take a deck and say, this deserves to exist because this particular combo is oh so precious to me, you almost always end up with this type of monstrosity where blatantly unkeepable, almost keepable. If we get red here, this is our free mulligan. Nope, but Craterhoof Behemoth is here. But holy fuck, can we get... I don't even think we want to get Garooks yet because we don't want to fuck up the top of our deck in case there's a red source. Oh good, Fiery Emancipation. Well, god damn it, if we're not comboing, someone else is going to. Okay, now we have birds. Now we can go get Garooks. This is our turn 4 now. We play Garooks. We fucking wait. We fucking wait. Turn 6. Oh, we get to draw a card because of Velociraptor. Okay, survival of the fittest is going to matter. We discard Stalking Motherfucking Vengeance for Temur Sabertooth. As soon as we reveal Temur Sabertooth, everyone who has ever heard the term CEDH has activated their sleeper agent phrase and is going to kill us. We do nothing. Right, we play Temur Sabertooth. We could, okay. We discard Bergie. We get Zakama. So if the table lets us, over the course of 3 turns, tutor the combo in their face, it will happen turn 8. And they have to let us connect with a creature, by the way. No, Geo, there's no food chain. We've cut the good combo. We have cut the good combo because we like the very, very cute combo, and it just straight up does not work. It is a bicycle made out of rocks. It strictly does not function. So I'm proud of you for trying to reach beyond your normal playstyle, and even more so, I'm glad that you worked with a friend on this. That said, this definitely looks like a combo deck built by a lifelong dinosaur player. And for that, I do think we're now going to extend the table a little bit, because we are very, very solidly in stupid mechanical. You got way too goddamn high, and you saw a line. You saw a line that you really thought worked, and I'm here to tell you that you are wrong as hell. Good night, Zilla. Thank you for coming by the stream. Andronicus, no, they cannot be specific commanders. Alec, man, I don't know how to insert an extra row or column, so we're not going to do it right now. But Wormot, thank you for the submission. I will nurture this deck. I mean, the thing is, if you say dinosaur combo, it really, really wants to be either Zakama in the command zone, because if you do Zakama in the command zone, people will at least expect you to be ramping into all of this other shit. The outcomes that you're talking to me about, damage amp really doesn't seem like it matters, because you're just killing everybody with an infinite anyway, right? You draw you have infinite mana, infinitely draw your deck. Who cares about damage amp? Our damage is infinity. Same goes for like Stormwind cons. We need 1. We've gone infinite and picked up our entire deck. Chuck your deck at them. Elixir of Immortality is also wasted. Like the all you really want is a haste enabler, put your creatures on board, and Craterhoof. Elixir of Immortality, to make it go forever, serves no purpose but masturbation. The damage amps, no purpose but masturbation for different like spin-off win cons. Like, this is an anime that is 90% filler and 10% combo. So we're going to do one more manual ad break, and then we're going to get into Geode's deck. So Twitch, I will see you all in just a few minutes. All right, goons. The Great Deox, thank you for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse, my friend. We have a random smasher pass to do from Elk that I did not forget, and if you God damn! Not to seem a little devious. Well, she's not happy to be in this art. This man is ugly. Different contexts. What if I'm the dashing knight with a mature hairline who just so happens to rescue her from her prison? I'm hitting. I also think the idea that the smasher passes are even considering the idea that it's non-consensual, ridiculous on the face of it. Shame on all of you. Every smasher pass we ever do comes with the explicit assumption that they are into it. Just because y'all want to be antagonistic because we see some cages, maybe she's into that too, huh? You ever had fun with a pair of handcuffs on a weekend? Didn't think so. Some of us move differently. Some of us live better lives than you. Oh, what? All of a sudden we unfamiliar with tsundere? All of a sudden nobody's heard of a bratty bottom? Insane. Speak not of it. Speak not of it. This guy can get fucked, though. No. No. I want to with the fairy in the back, but I'm not letting y'all get me. This is 80%, 80%, 80% I catch a case. I'm not letting it happen. It's 80% donkey. Yeah, no, too risky. Too risky. But I think, again, on this one, I'm going to say loud and clear, if we're ever doing a smasher pass, the assumption is universally that everyone consents. This is also why I never respond to or use the phrase like, oh, who cares if this person can get it, they're going to take it, because I need you to think like one step further as to what that is implying and why I would not support it or speak its name. So who cares? Whatever. She's in a bad mood right now. She'll be in a better mood with us. Okay? The baseline premise. That's also why we are not doing these smasher passes with real people. One of the many reasons we're not sexualizing real people when we do these smasher passes, because the assumption is always that we're both about it. And the idea that we're not both about it is disgusting and is mostly, I'm assuming, for internet contrarianism. The D&D movie cards have been a very hard time for me, Elk. I'll be honest. They've been a very tough time for my brand. Chef, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. Donkey was the case they gave me. All right, let's get back into the action. Let's do Geode's deck. This deck is meant to do one thing: sell crack cocaine, profit, and then leave the table asking why when I slam down an Omen machine. This deck has had multiple iterations, and this Mario Party crash out does not have World Fire, nor Scrambleverse, nor Time Sifter. This deck is the peak of ramping, trip balls, and laugh. Price does not matter, as this is all digital deck that I use on the Discord server. Okay, correct number of lands. Real. I think Snail disagrees with you. Green. Just ramp a ton. So what is the Omen Machine? Players can't draw cards. They exile it and forcibly play whatever they drew. That is much funnier than what I thought you were going to do. It's better Rocco, though. It's not Tutor Rocco. So it's pseudo group hug. We ramp. Oh, not we ramp. No, we give everybody impulse draw. We give everybody impulse draw, and we just get a benefit from it. Drugs. Elkin Lair is goddamn ridiculous. So you take a card, you put a random card from your hand off to the side. You can play it that turn, but it goes into the grave if they don't play it that turn. So it's use it or lose it. Use it or go fuck yourself. Elk mentioned. Grip of Chaos. Reselect abilities randomly. Illicit auction. Move everything around. Cards into graveyards. Jinxed Ring deals a damage. Sack a creature to give this to somebody else. That's kind of funny. Karn the Betrayer seems reasonable. Mob Verdict. Each player votes for someone else, then reveal those votes. For each vote an opponent receives, deal 2 damage to them and all their shit. What's Pixis do? Exile face down. Generally, I like this. I think I already know what I'm going to dislike about this. I think Omen Machine is much better than Scrambleverse or any of the other like Worldfire-esque generic chaos cards, because it does force stuff to happen. The worst part of chaos is its overlap with stacks pieces, and I think this does have some stacks overlap, because you are taking away agency from players, but you are still driving the game forward forcibly. So how does this deck win without a Drannith Magistrate lock? Elk, my sweet summer child, I don't believe this deck has any intentions of winning. I do not. I believe this deck has the sole intention of playing Magic the Gathering. I believe the outcome of that game of Magic the Gathering what are we even talking about, Elk? I'm not trying to win at Magic. I'm having a vision of Phyrexia. I am allowing Chimiel, the Commander Auto Battler, to play my deck for me. I think Taunt from the Rampart at least does something. Spectacular Showdown at least does something. Does Life of the Party do anything? Oh, Life of the Party does do something. I like that. I do like that we have 10 things in the goad section. I'm always worried about a deck that says, I'm not trying to win. That's a very, very difficult tightrope to walk, but I do think this deck is at least close to having the muscle necessary to actually make it end a game of Magic, even if it's not always ending with it being the winning deck. Maddening Hex. Even though it is a little bit generic for your archetype, I think this would benefit from Descent into Avernus. The single worst quality of the deck right now is that we don't have a realistic depiction of drugs. We have a lot of drugs, and very few of them have the possibility of killing us via overdose. And that is a necessary meta balancing aspect of drugs. I don't think we're fully win conless, but we're pretty goddamn close to win conless chaos. I think right now we are in like chaos, someone wins. We're not on chaos, we win, and we're not on chaos, nobody wins. But we're very much not on chaos that somehow allows us to win the game. So I'm going to we're going to put this deck on a real deck building website. I'm not signed into my Mox field. Never mind. We're going to playtest it in the world's shittiest playtester. So we have a bunch of fucking cards I can't read. Sure, everything's a forest. And then we get Share the Spoils. So this card, I know you can't read it. Hey, Mango, overlay a big Share the Spoils at this point. Everybody has to exile, and people can play from the communal exile pile, but then they replace whatever they took. That's a little bit cute. Our next turn, we can't play Rocco because we don't have access to white yet. Pyxis of Pandemonium. We have a forest. We still can't play Rocco. But we can Visions of Phyrexia, and we can exile, excellent, a tapped card. We play Tempting Worm and say, fuck it, we ball. So Kami of Celebration, whenever a modified creature you control attacks, and then we discover twice. Somebody is presumably going to kill us because of Tempting Worm. We finally get to play Rocco. At end step, we exile Shiny Impetus. Okay, something's going to be goated. Play a mountain. We get to make something big, make a food token. We play Impetus, make something big, make a food token. Play this. And then it just kind of becomes a mess. So we definitely have to mulligan aggressively to get to Rocco if we're going to make this deck work. We're not really creating a good amount of damage, which I think is where that's where we would want to insert Descent into Avernus. I really like Jinxed Ring for the singular reason that it's probably going to turn the commander table into a nonstop bickering session, which I believe is the point of this deck. I like Tempt with Vengeance. This is like, it sounds chaotic, but you actually come out ahead, which is good. Turf War, also kind of chaotic. This doesn't make a lock, right? My main dilemma is getting cuts from the deck. Well, thankfully, cuts are easy. I don't know if anyone's warned you. A lot of these cards are really bad. I would dump Zerzoth for Ascent into... Jesus, I cannot talk today. I would dump Zerzoth for Descent into Avernus like yesterday, because this is extremely conditional for the benefits that it's providing, and the likelihood that it's going to translate to damage every game is very, very low. I like Yes Man. I do like things that you are passing around that is not going to be totally symmetrical. I think Kami's good. I honestly don't think Oblivion Sower is all that good. I think it's a little bit of ramp, but it's ramp at 6 mana, at which point, like, we're chill. If we have 6 mana to spend on Oblivion Sower, this is an Eldrazi card that was made for Eldrazi decks that has to... Oh, it takes all lands from someone's exile? I still think we're working in Christmas Land. Most of the time, if people are exiling lands, they're just playing them as land drop. And it looks like most of the way we were exiling things is with Rocco's ability. Like, I think this is cool in 1 game out of 100 and is a waste of time in the other 99. And so if you want cuts to make the deck function a little bit better. Yeah. Hobbit Sting is overly cute. Just bring a gun. I think Gilded Goose also overly cute. Um, it's overly cute when like the things I like to pair are if my if my overall game plan is serious and good, then I'm going to have cuter support rather than really strong support. If my overall game plan is something ridiculous, like, say, I don't know, allowing all of my opponents to play whatever they want from their hands all of the time forever, the support shouldn't be as cute. Because we're already being mad kawaii if our plan works. And so the fruits and veggies that support this diet should be less cute and should just be like, hey, this thing works. So like this should just be birds of paradise. I think Hobbit Sting is also just like me when midnight strokes. If we're trying to be spooky. If we want to be silly, I think this could be silly and then everything can be cute because that's the point of a silly deck. But if we want the deck to be spooky, that means we want it to be a moderate degree of functional. And Hobbit Sting, Gilded Goose, all of the cards in the Munchies section only work if people are letting us keep Rocco out. If we lose Rocco to board wipes, if we have to sacrifice him as a blocker, if somebody just hates Naya, I don't know who that would be. I don't know who would do something crazy like on reaction murder a Naya commander because of everything you people always do every game. Might fall apart. Is all I'm saying. Stuff might get bad for you. This Rocco does do foods on account of me staring at what the Rocco does right now. That's for YouTube chat, Twitch chat, if you're confused. This is Street Chef. Yeah, I agree with Elk Geode. You're paying for food at the soup kitchen. You have a 1-mana bird that makes mana if you have a 1-mana bird that makes mana if my commander's doing stuff, or a 1-mana bird that makes mana if the bird exists. If you really want both, play both. If you want an outlet for your foods, like Peregrine Took is a okay food outlet because you can turn it into card draw. Knight of the Sweet's Revenge is not the best outlet for your foods, but it is a outlet that like can turn into you winning the game. Killer Service at least makes you tokens. But again, Hobbit Sting, like you're a Naya, just play Swords to Plowshares. Why are we paying for food at the soup kitchen? Writing credit 3-3 Elk, who I will never fucking credit. What does this hand do? Mob Verdict? I mean, like, it's bad, but it's bad on purpose. How can I be mad at that? What the fuck does Revelation do? All players play with the cards in their hands face up on the table. That's great. We keep the hand just for that. We play this. We get beaten to death with hammers. We all go home. So I think Descent into Avernus would help. Having Birds of Paradise would help. Having the type of like stuffy doll, brash taunter to catch all this like goad shit, because the worst thing that can happen is you spectacular showdown, somebody lives, and then all my opponent's creatures now have double strike counters on them. That can get really fucking bad for you really quickly. And this deck does look like it is trying to win. It's not trying to win as hard as it could. Also, cut this immediately. I hate to tell you this, my friend. Maddening Hex sucks. Maddening Hex is just a really bad card. It does not create a meaningful amount of damage in a commander situation. And so I would highly recommend cutting that for one of these potentially useful cards. Yeah, drugs aren't weed. They should have consequences. I would cut probably like half the munchies. Get Brash Taunter stuff. Get Descent into Avernus. The rest of it kind of looks okay. I think your curve is, yeah, deeply irresponsible, but that's every Naya curve. If you get Birds of Paradise in here, and do you even have ramp? My brother in Christ. We have the faintest amount, absolutely unshakable belief that we're pulling a Soul Ring out of here. This is all of it. Excellent. I may play an additional land. I have 36 in the deck, so I may play 2 lands on turn 1 and then brick the rest of the game. I love it. There's no Soul Ring? Tuned. Perfectly tuned. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. This deck should have Crown of Doom. Whenever a creature attacks you, it gets +2/+0. You should have Crown of Doom. Holy fuck, yeah. Yes. Yes, 100% you should have Crown of Doom. This is a very good way to convince people to use their damage on you, or just turn your goad into like, well, this is going to be lethal now. And then I would definitely cut from Maddening Hex. Like, this is, yeah, this shoots every Storm player square in the chest in a 1v1, and in a 4 free-for-all situation does basically nothing. But most of your cute stuff I like, except for this. This is disgusting and aspirational, and I swear to God, if you just played Cultivate, you would probably be better off. But I am going to give you Tuned Soap Opera. I don't think there's one specific mechanic you're trying to play around. You are trying to play around Rocco-made laced brownies, and now we're all going on a trip together. I just think Rocco should be lacing the brownies with slightly harder stuff. And then maybe you should like have a gun to finish off anybody who lives through the trip. But thank you very much for submitting. I hope you enjoyed. The last suggestion is Dowsing Device. I think this is perfect food outlet if we haven't used any of our food. I'm not as sold on it because I don't think we're like in the business of holding food all game. Oh, except for Night of Sweet's Revenge. We are doing it for Night of Sweet's Revenge. Yeah, not as good as Sweet's Revenge, but is playable. So we're going to look for somebody to raid now, and that's going to be the end of today's stream. Thank you all for joining us. We will be live again Saturday with World of Warcraft, which is also going to be basically just chatting, open community questions time. That is when I will be able to answer all of your questions about Am I a bitch for playing this type of deck? What do you think about this commander that sucks its own toes in front of everybody? What do I think about XYZ? That is when you'll be able to ask me. Alec Man, we reacted to Aether Drift yesterday. Vamp Tutor, thank you for the Twitch follow. Let's figure out who we're rating. Oh, I tell you what, you want Aether Drift spoilers? Our boy Kuro Hitsuki is doing Aether Drift spoilers right now. Raid message is going to be King Shark again. So everybody be kind, rewind. I will see you all Saturday. Thank you very much for the watches, the follows, the subs, the bits. I appreciate every last one of you. And remember to stay toxic.